everybody. Welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle. It is the Sunday show, and it is the last day of the year. Happy New Year's to everybody out there. It's a depressed Arsenal New Year's. 2023 could have been so much better, but we basically, from the point of spring onwards, we bottled the run-in last season. We went through some changes in the summer. We maybe thought they were going to be for the best. Who knows? Who knows what it looks like right now? It doesn't look like the changes were for the best in the summer. And a frightening stat I put out a little while ago was up until the 8th game against Man City, and it's not a goalkeeper question right away, we gathered 20 points up until the 8th game. That's including the win against Man City. We got 8 points. We were clipping along at 2.5 points a game. And since then, we've had another 12 games. We've only gathered the same amount of points, 20. And we're clipping along at 1.66 points a game. Big drop off in the last 12 games. And if we continue,
your target, right?
If we continue on that pace, Tony, not that we're going to continue at 1.66 points, because we can't continue at 1.66 points a game. We'll end on 70 points for the season. So we're gonna be somewhere around the lower end, mid 70s, or if you really do well, higher end, mid 80s. But it's not looking good right now. It's looking quite bleak. Tony, since you piped up first, I'll go to you first, Tony.
Yes, it was a show Sunday. It's like you get your Sunday, but you eat your Sunday, but it's like all melted, and you don't get the chocolate all swirled around. You're missing the strawberries and cherries and stuff.
Yeah.
But simply good enough, and there's still no plan B. There's no you don't look to the bench and you don't get something very different from what you have. And the problem is we know we're to be pretty restricted unless we sell some good assets to bring in some probably okay accents. We're not going to be able to get the players that you want in January. So how does this get better?
Yeah, listen, big question. How does this get better? Gary, you ready to go now, or should I go through a few quick comments
I'm
here?
ready. Oh, I just haven't been looking at you, because that's all. Just haven't been looking at you. I've been listening.
Gary's like, I'm fucking tired of looking at you, right?
And every time, and then this guy just keeps chatting, like chatty.
Hey, look, I think it's a time to talk, right?
You know, it's funny because I got off the watch along today, and I was like, damn, I'm not going to get to talk about football, and I forgot what day it was. And I'm like looking at the day, I'm like, wait, it's Sunday. Wait,
Arsenal forgot what day it was.
Did Ray send the link? Oh, Ray sent the link. Okay, all right, I'll get to talk about it. Wow. Last two matches, 2 watch-alongs I've done. At the end of both of them, I was just subdued and just like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't even like it's hard. Like, I don't even get mad when I see terrible football. I just basically just shuts down, right? I just shut down, and because like they would just wean you off anything. Like, you can't even be hyped up to watch them anymore. How do you come out in the first 5 minutes, and then for the next 95 minutes, basically just kill the life out of football? That's what they did. They just killed it. I mean, like,
slowed it down.
95 minutes of just like, wait, you guys don't want to win this game? You guys don't want to go for every 50-50 ball? You guys don't want to do something positive? You can't string enough passes together to maintain some sort of pressure on the other team? Like we talk about like the VAR and the officials and the rain and the wet field and the this and the that. This is all on. I talked about in the last game, toothless, right? We were toothless in that game. In terms of our shooting, we were toothless.
Yep.
Today, they just said, you know what? Hold my beer. I'll show you what toothless is. I'll show you
Slow.
what toothless is. I will show you we will not back up our manager. Right? I'll show you I will not do better by myself, just by me.
Hmm.
I mean, what player out there looked like they were actually trying to get something out of this game? Like, what player out there was like, I'm killing myself to do something good. I don't care what it is. Nothing.
Poor.
They had no response from the team. They no response from the team. No response at all. Whatever they said at halftime was worse than what they said. Definitely worse than what they said at the beginning of the game. We came out just the same way we finished off the half. Oh, sorry, we actually played good in the beginning and the end of the first half, and then we decided to change that up and just like not do anything. Like we were fine with the first 35-minute period between the end and that first half there, where we just looked just nasty, just disgusting, and did that for the entire second half. The subs coming in, they didn't seem like they were going to do anything different. I don't know. This is going to be a very, very long 20 days. We play Liverpool one time,
Yeah.
and then we have 2 weeks off.
Yes.
We keep expecting them like the same way we expect City to eventually turn it on and just run away with the league. We've been expecting something from Arsenal in a response to a previous poor game, and they took this winter break and just basically said, we'll do it right in the new year. That's basically what it looked like. Like they had given up on like Christmas. They're like, we know what, we have Christmas the next day, so we won't play as well as we want there. New Year's is coming up. Guess what? It's a New Year's Eve. I got a party to get to. Like, how do these guys enjoy the New Year's Eve, right? I mean, they will, but how? Like,
Yeah.
Are you serious?
They can't.
Are you serious?
If they're serious professionals, they cannot.
They should be, and like, which one of them going to be pissed? I didn't hear any post-game interviews. Was anybody upset about it where they had to bleep them? You know?
Yeah. Indeed.
Imagine probably the only one would probably be Gabriel, maybe Xhaka.
No, but who would do what?
That would be sitting there saying something bleep worthy.
Nobody on the pitch looked like they were annoyed. What player on the pitch looked like physically like ill? Like, this is like, what is this?
All right, I'm gonna get through a few comments quickly. Let's we'll hold your comments till we get through quite a bit of these, Gary and Tony. I know it'll be not easy to do that. Stephen said it's okay. It's halftime. I find it very telling that the one time we move the ball quickly up the pitch and score, when we revert back to this season's Arteta ball, we suck. And then I came in and said we stopped playing around 20-minute mark. Content to seem to keep it at 1-0. Then the warning signs came, and we could see the warning signs. The players did not address the warning signs. We'll talk about that. 75 minutes in since the goal, we've gone back to the same old plotting style and running into a brick wall. To me, the players look bored to dead with no interest in what they're doing. And that's damning as well, those comments, I can't disagree. Nobody can disagree with these comments from Stephen. I've been watching Martinelli a lot. He's been standing here level with the back line in acres of space for the whole game. And he's got one pass and that led to a goal. What a waste. So, yeah, we've talked about not using the left-hand side as much. It's bad when your opponents can totally mark Martinelli because they know he is not going to get the ball in wide open spaces. What is Arteta telling these players to do? We need to have more variation in our play. Keep waiting for something. We keep waiting for something to give for these players to have a care about the result. Steven said, I'm sorry, but Arteta looks clueless. Absolutely no ideas on how to make his new style work with the players we have, none of which are suited to this slow-paced style. And then the assemble comes in. Misfit Martinelli is part of the system. He's a decoy. It is confusing the opposition that he has all this space and doesn't get the ball. Get with the program. Don't let common sense get in the way. And a lot of things that Arteta does not have common sense. Assembled, you crack me up. Yeah, I don't want to embargo Gary or Tony too much longer here. Sorry, guys, but Arsenal are not qualifying for Champions League if Arteta doesn't go to a system that uses his team's pace. Very valid comments, you know. We're not utilizing the pace of Martinelli. We're not surprising back fours or defenses that come up against us. Emery has gotten Villa ahead of us, spending a lot less in a shorter time, and Tottenham are only a point back. And we've laughed at Tottenham and Ange's high line, and we're only a point better off. And Gary, I'll open it up to you and Tony as well now if you want to jump in. We're in a situation where if we won these two games, we'd be 4 points ahead of Liverpool, putting pressure on Liverpool tomorrow against Newcastle, rather than be 2 points behind Liverpool. They have a game in hand. You know?
Yeah, but don't forget they have a game in hand. City has a game in hand. So
yeah,
but
we are
Liverpool
comfortably fourth, Tony. Comfortably fourth right now.
We are not comfortably fourth.
We're uncomfortably fourth.
We are not comfortably fourth. That team that you talk about,
Yeah.
Their manager, I don't even think it's he seemed to be stubborn earlier in his high line, in terms of that. But the one thing he's been able to do is his players have actually backed him up. We've actually backed him up with the play.
Yeah.
Right.
They won a couple of games.
Like they've played for him, right? They played for him. The players that needed to stand up, stood up, and did the business, right? Our players, as far as I'm concerned, do not trust this man. They don't.
I don't think they trust him, and I don't think they like that there's no creativity. It's just, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it every fucking game, and you're going to like it. You're going to get vanilla ice cream every time. Are you going to be happy, Ray, if you go to Baskin Robbins and every time all you get to have is vanilla? Are you going to enjoy that?
You'd like to have a choice, right, Tony?
Yeah. And I love vanilla ice cream, like the vanilla bean French style.
Sure. Yeah. You really want ice cream. You really want ice cream today. You have a sundae on your mind. You have ice cream on your mind. And if you were given an ice cream by Mikel Arteta and told you can only have a lick or a taste every 2 minutes, you wouldn't be happy, right? Because that's how slow you'd be eating that sundae.
And it's just vanilla, nothing else.
You want to eat it faster. Martinelli wants to play faster. Odegaard's been taken out of a key area in front of goal since last season. Nigel is a Liverpool fan here, so we have to remember it's only a game. I mean, that's true.
It's not one game though. We're like
but it's only a game.
Okay.
It's only a game.
What are we doing? If we just shut down shop, let's just not even turn the channel off. Then let's not even talk about football anymore.
Turn out the lights.
What is it? No, I get it. It's just a game, but this is how you get an outlet. We cheer when they're happy, and we're sad when they lose, right? Yeah. That's what we do. That's why we're here. Well, all of you, everybody wants to, like, this is what it's for. This is exactly what it's for. If the doctor said, "What do you need to get over this Arsenal?"
We need to talk about it.
You're feeling, we're going to talk about it. So it is a game. That the trick is when somebody turns off, when we go offline, when we turn the show off. How does your life change?
Return to
my talks to a doctor are a little bit different than everybody else's.
Your doctor's like, I'll see you tomorrow with the next thing. That's the difference. Like you would be like, you know what? You have a game tomorrow for Arsenal, and guess what? You're gonna do the exact same thing again, but it'll be a different way. We're just gonna try different ways to punish you as a viewer. That's the way you and your health and the doctors and all, yeah. But no, I think Oh, look at that! We got now. I'm seeing a lot of this Matt guy. He's showing up all the damn time. He's just showing up all the time. He says the hope strategy. It's not hope. You can't hope for us to be poor at the end of the season and then tell me I'm hopeful because I feel like we can do better. You're hoping as well. You're getting proved right, which is pissing me off. Yeah, but still, I feel like I can't look to the end of the season and say it's a failure when we're still in the middle of it, right? So give me a little bit there.
Listen, there's a couple of things here. Nigel, I've always had respect for AFC, so thank you, Nigel. But the banner down here, 2023, Arsenal have proved that we cannot join the big boys yet, Tony. You know, we're looking at City, we're looking at Liverpool, and we want to step up onto that table. And we're not quite there yet.
That's why I stopped you last year when you said that we could have this sustained success for 4 or 5 years. Did not see it with the way Arteta coaches. Doesn't bring in the academy players, doesn't play a fast style, just doesn't trust players. You can't trust a handful of players, keep playing a handful of players every freaking competition. We don't rotate for competitions. I mean, even if the starter ends up on the bench, he's still end up playing 40 minutes because he's come on early in the second half like we do in those competitions.
Yeah.
And I kept saying at the end of last season, going into the summer.
I think we have rotated the teams. I think we brought players in at times. We haven't done it like as much as a Klopp would do at Liverpool. But then on the other hand, the players have not stepped forward and made it so difficult for Arteta to go back to the first 11.
You have to remember last year, you got Gabriel that had 4,400 minutes, Xhaka 3,800.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Saka's clocking even way ahead of that this year because Champions League within it. Well, Arteta, right? Did we play with starters every time in the Champions League? No, we had like all these very bad players that would go out there and still qualify us for
Under Wenger.
Still qualify us in the
Yeah,
group
but
stages.
I mean, I love what Wenger did, but we have to understand that 10, 15 years ago, it was a different league as well, you know?
Yeah, but we got all these people. Why we wanted Wenger sacked is we weren't competing for the title. And I think it's going to be hard to do under Arteta because they backed him. They spent all this money. Question is, how long do they wait? Because I think a big reason they spent this is looking at the Champions League format. And that's going to be a good source of money.
Yeah.
Good source of revenue. And here we are, disappointing. You have Martinelli and Saka. How long are they to sit there and stick around if you're not legitimately challenging for the title? And if they're not allowed to be who they are. And that's the thing. I don't think any of these players can go out there and do random stuff because you got the guy yelling at them every 5
And look,
seconds.
it's definitely we're being shown up now with the standard of our play that we seem to allow ourselves to only wait for a low block to be formed before we try to take them on. You know, Fulham. We jump out ahead of Fulham with a breakaway goal. You know, it's originated from a Fulham trying to cross the ball lane. Raya picks up the ball, throws it out to Havertz, and we're on our way. We give Martinelli the most free green grass that he's ever seen in the whole month. You know, and he takes advantage of that, Tony. And Bukayo Saka's there waiting for the rebound, and fair play to Bukayo Saka. He readjusts his foot to direct it on goal, but nothing after that. My notes say, okay, the ref by his action. The ref, I wasn't mad at the ref. He was allowing the game to be physical. He allowed it to be physical as long as he was going to be consistent, and he was reasonably consistent. We can complain a little bit here and there about a decision. I think their equalizing goal, Bukayo Saka is not strong enough in that challenge. Ben White has gone forward too much. Saliba's out of place. Gabriel's dragged over, and it's too easy. Orbinho is again putting out these stats where, you know, here we go again. Fulham may have had 3 chances today and scored 2 goals. You know what I mean? It's not good enough at the back either, you know. And so the questions are going to be asked of Arteta. And I'm going to ask the questions today. We're going to go through the goalkeeper, defense, midfield, and strikers. And what do we need to do? Other notes, Kivior coming in. I was generally happy with Kivior coming in. Zinchenko had a thigh injury. I thought he played okay, but you know what? I think Arteta has to be comfortable with imperfection when it comes to Kivior.
You know what? The one time he needed to stand up and do his job.
Kivior?
Yeah.
On the back post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but if I recall, he actually runs by him. So he knows he's off on his right shoulder. He knows it. The last thing he can do is let that player get on the end of any ball coming through getting crossed in. And he kind of just forgets about him. I mean, like your first job is to defend that goal and protect it and make sure no balls come in there and threaten the goal. And he did a poor job at it. That was the one that's what stands out at the end of the day.
The warning signs were there, Gary, after about 20,
No, but
26
we can't be giving teams 2 chances to score and they score. You know what I mean? Like it didn't even seem like for much of the game that they were threatening us. I mean, this is a comfortable 2-1 win for them, and because we offered not much, and they took advantage of everything that we got.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're a half decent mid-table team in the Premier League, you can defend quite well against Arsenal. It seems. You know, how low do we have to go before we can get a win? And I saw Gary and Ryan talking about our next fixture in January. It's Crystal Palace coming in, and they play pretty well, but every year I would say Crystal Palace coming to the Emirates will be guaranteed 3 points in January 2020.
They're 14th, right? Don't give them too much credit.
They are poor and we should beat them, right? Sam said, no excuses for today. Very poor performance. Once again, I feel Arteta has made unnecessary changes this season instead of adding to what was already working last season. For sure. We're going to get into all that stuff as well. Let's get through a few more. All right. We're getting a few Arteta outs now. I'm actually now Arteta out. Get out of the club. Lee Gunner turned out to be right. Get out tonight, needs to be sacked. I mean, you have to go and win a league to prove Lee Gunner wrong. You know what I mean? We don't deserve to be top at the moment. We're very average. That's Liverpool, but you're there. Klopp has integrated squad players. He brought them in for games, and it hasn't looked perfect against Burnley, especially. But there you go. I love how Ray is making sure to not leave gaps in his speech, as he can see Tony's waiting to swoop in like a hawk. Yeah, I have to keep both of them at bay. I get accused of not keeping up with the chat. Then see my problem.
Is Tom calling me Tony Hawk? That's what he's doing there?
Tony who?
Tony Hawk.
Why didn't Jesus start? Look, Jesus Moss has not been good enough. So you give Nketiah a start. I would have played Trossard myself. And Trossard's another player who's not getting a look in very much.
Yeah,
and Neil Smith-Rowe. We also had a clip of Martinelli coming to the bench and not at least acknowledging Emile Smith-Rowe trying to be a good teammate. You know, Arteta's wrecked everything. He's done. He's finished. It's over for us. This is not a game for me. It's my entire life. I know. I get it, George. We all do feel that way in some way, shape, or form. But at times you have to allow yourself a few hours to simmer down. And then, you know.
But it's after a while, you just seem like you're glutton for punishment just because it just keeps happening over and over again for fucking 15 years now.
I will say the man here, everybody can support Arsenal in different ways, and I respect how each and every one of you follow the Arsenal. You have your own opinions, and you can all feel your own way about how this is going on and how this is happening. But, you know, don't try to make someone else feel bad about how their opinion is. That's all I would say. You know, if you feel like you want Arteta out, it's your opinion. You know, Tony, I didn't agree with the opinion prior. Yeah, Tony, go ahead.
To me, like I said, I said it in the summer. I said it at the end of last season. I said it wouldn't surprise me if we finish outside the fourth and we're sitting there challenging for the Champions League because he
Mhm.
got enough first teamers, but I don't think the way he's playing on that we're gonna go too far in the Champions League probably.
And
But
look, this is the
but
thing, Tony. Maybe we're a cup. Maybe we're a cup team now.
but the thing is, why did we make the change? Why were fans screaming for it? It was to title for the championship, and we're not challenging for it this year.
I mean,
I
we're
mean,
we're in
what?
the conversation, but we're being bantered. We're being bantered right now. You know.
But you have to be absolutely perfect, and we're not going to be perfect because we lack a striker. Jesus is a winger. You got Enkedia as the backup striker, and you're not going to get a very good striker unless you get somebody on loan, which isn't going to happen because you just don't put up mediocre good players for loan
Mhm.
deals. Unless it's like a loan with an obligation to buy, you might get something like that. But don't expect too much different.
I will say, Marcus, that Sam is not a plastic. Um he sort of keeps it real. Sam Greenwood
But
does.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Everybody, like the people that want Arteta out and all of this, are going on the stats. But then if you use the same stats a different way, then what are you doing? You know, it works both ways, folks. You can't be Arteta out based on the stats and then be Arteta, and if you Arteta in on the stats, oh, you know what? Those stats mean nothing. You know what? They work the same way. They work both ways. They don't want to listen
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
All I can say is Arteta has proven him right, and that's the. I think everybody who's ever said anything positive about Arsenal said Arteta needs to continue doing what he's doing and make sure that what you're saying isn't true. And so far, he's not been doing it. He has not been doing it. Arteta has not been proving the doubters wrong.
No.
He's been.
No.
I mean, the things that we've been saying. I even started saying that last couple games. Our attack with Arteta at the helm is starting to get worse and worse, right? And we've seen it like this season, right?
Yeah.
Our attack is failing, and he has no answers right now to get our attack into a certain position, right? And the only
We
thing
gotta
right now, the only thing we can do is, as you say, hope for it to change. That's why
well
just like people hope for the season to end with us sitting
we
outside
have
the top four. You know,
but Gary, we have a roadmap map from last season, minus Granit Xhaka. And look, if Granit Xhaka is not there, you can play other players and you'll still get the same results, I believe. I
But
think you know.
he's
But
completely abandoned that tactic, though. It's
Erdegaard,
like,
Erdegaard has been moved from a very, very dangerous part of the pitch to cater for Havertz in some way, shape, or form. Cater for our midfield that's changed. And we've taken away 15, maybe 10 or 12 goals because Erdegaard's only on 3 or 4 right now. You know, Sam said we're only halfway in the season, but there is a lot that needs to be fixed, and January is a tough time to need to make changes. And we're going to have to look at our squad. If we want to augment our squad, we have to sell some players. So some uncomfortable conversations are going to be had in the next coming days.
like the one I mentioned Thursday. Do you look at selling Martinelli?
You did mention that, didn't you?
I did.
Matt said, say we want is simply going to be more of the same. Listen, Arteta needs to find a way. He needs to speed the play up. It's more of the same. It's predictable. And if we stop Bukayo Saka and we stop Martinelli, then we stop Arsenal pretty much. I hope Arteta can turn things around, but think he has taken us as far as he can. Look, we're all probably starting to think that a little bit. Has Arteta taken us as far as if we can? Is Arteta the Liverpool equivalent of Brendan Rodgers? You know, Matt, we're halfway in the season. Things can change. I'm not happy, but it's early to give up.
I mean, this is the thing though. So it's poor right now.
Yeah,
So do you just continue to expect the worst and nothing to change? But if they bring in somebody new, you expect it to change. What's the difference? What's the difference? There's no difference between, oh, well, if we bring this person in, it will change. And guess what? If Arteta learns from his past experiences, he will learn, right? It will change. It's the same
I haven't.
premise.
Well, have
So,
we
Yeah,
seen
but
him learn, Gary?
no, we
I've been,
haven't. He's stubborn as a
why are you
government
screaming at
mule.
us? You don't have to scream.
Government mule,
You
right?
don't have to scream at us.
we give you your airtime, Tony. It's
You're
not
not-
like you have to
you-
scream over us.
You don't know. Yeah. No. I like I said, we expect him to change. We expect him to learn, and this is where, for me,
Hasn't happened,
his
has it?
assistants haven't come in and helped him at all. Because I don't get how they could be. Look at that. You're sitting there. Your job's on the line too. Their job is on the line. They're watching this, and they don't have a clue how to fix it. What are you on the bench for? You're supposed to have a clue. Yeah.
And that's one thing I've mentioned. We have all this height, but we're not scoring on corner kicks. We're getting a lot of
Well,
corner
you know
Well,
what?
we
Today
have
is a little
been.
bit different because if you recall, the first corner we got was in like the 70-plus minute. So you're not scoring, and you're not like set pieces and weren't actually
We don't.
a part
Yeah,
of the parameter today.
we've been getting 9 or 10.
No. But
games,
we're
right?
talking. Are we talking about? Are we going to talk about this last game, or are we talk about everything? Because I can't do everything. Because if we talk about everything, then we might as well just talk about the
As
end of the season and all of that. Are we talking about this game? Or are we talking about everything?
Well, we've been trending downward because we've seen the last
Yeah,
few
but
games.
corners are a byproduct of being able to get behind teams, being able to put crosses in, being able to put teams under pressure. Then you create corners from those clears.
Yeah, but we've had those corners, right?
We have in
Yeah.
previous games, not so many today, I believe, 3 or
No.
4 maybe. Aston Villa were playing the best football prior to that. And look, I know I've asked for this. I know I've asked for more competition to take points off Liverpool, take points off City. And when you ask for that, you probably have to accept you're going to lose points yourself. But this is ridiculous. We've had a bad month, a bad month. Despite the win over Wolves at the start of the month and Luton Town, might have been the signs. Luton Town might have been. And we had that loss at Villa where we had a very, very good performance, but we didn't score. And I think December may be known as a month of good performances without actually being efficient, Tony, and scoring,
Yeah. Definitely we want to win a war of attrition because we just don't have a striking power. Because like I said, you got one striker, and that's Eddie Nketiah, and he's a third string Premier League striker. He's not your backup. He's definitely not your starter. And Arteta's done this because we've been sitting there. We've had plenty of time to go pick one. You got your most clinical guy. You're seeing that last season. Then as soon as Jesus is ready to go again, Trossard goes straight back to a bench. Probably cost you a title making that decision. But
now you're going to last year. Like,
hey,
can we at least stay on this year, please?
well,
Please, can we talk about this year?
we're
Can we not talk about last year?
we're going for Mr. Toad's wild ride, Gary.
No, I don't. No, this
sit
isn't
back
that
and
kind of a
enjoy.
show. You can't make every show about the history. Can we just talk about what we just saw today? We
Be
have
like
more than,
be,
we have more
be
than
like
enough.
your guy
we have
next
more-
to you.
we have
Like Ray likes roller coasters.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
I don't like them. I know that as a fan, you're going to get bad points in the season and you're going to get really good points in the season. We beat Man City in game 8. We had 20 points from 24. We had 2.5 points per game. Since then, it's been 1.66 points per game. And we've lost 4 games in the last 12.
But
since that City defeat.
But at what point do you think the fans are going to start revolting, right? Because
look, you see it already in the chat box, right?
Hey,
yeah, but you're not going to see 1,000 Arteta out signs like you did Wenger with
No.
2.5 seasons before he's got sacked.
I think
or you got Emery, you're setting a third and you're seeing all those signs.
Hey, let me just put some things to you. January window, if we want to make moves, and Arteta was quoted today. He's going to stick with the team that he has. I don't really believe that. If there's an opportunity to do something this month, we're going to do it.
I think he knows we don't have much money, so
there's
the only
some
counter there is making those uncomfortable choices.
uncomfortable decisions to be made. Tony, do we stick with David Raya, who it doesn't the eye test is starting to fail us a little bit. If the stats look good, the eye test doesn't look good with David Raya. And if you see an Orbinho stat, it's like, this is Raya, this is your work, and the defense in front of you.
Well, you just said Raya's the one that got us the goal, right? Threw it into an empty space.
Yes, he was part of the goal. Correct.
He's still better than Ramsdale.
So do you think the second goal Raya could have done better?
The what's his name? Jimenez goal, right?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's a little bit tough for your goalkeeper. You want him to make a save, but it's point blank in front of you. This is like across the 6-yard box that pass is played. Mm-hmm. I'd like Gabriel, Saliba, and Kivior to do better in that instance.
Yeah.
We saw a chance in the second half, Gary.
Actually, it was Havertz that was back.
Yeah.
It wasn't even our center backs in the middle of the pitch.
Because
Havertz was on the middle guy, which is surprising in the way that ended up. And Kivior was on the outside.
What happened is Ben White went on the overlap. Xhaka wasn't strong enough in the challenge. The ball gets transitioned. White's up the field.
Well, Xhaka should have never made it out of the locker room. I mean, any one-on-one, you might as well have just given it to the other team, because that's exactly what he did. Every time, one-on-one with a man, can you hold up the ball for a second to even pass it? Nope. He lost the ball pretty much every time. We all talk about, like, our store boy had a bad day today, playing football, and you know what? We expect it if we're being truthful with ourselves. But the only person that can fix that is Arteta, and Arteta just sat there, watched him, and say, "Guess what? Go out there and try to fix it."
We're gonna roll with it, yeah. Right after the second goal, right after Fulham go 2-1 up, Xhaka has a great chance on the back post, a volley over the bar. You kind of expect him to get that on target more.
He could have trapped that ball and put it in very nicely. And
couple of other things, Gary. Breaks into the box in the second half, and this was like the West Ham game. He crosses or shoots the ball into the arms of the goalkeeper. And look, I know they're not easy chances, but they're half chances that you need to put either side of the goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. Leon Charlo, I think we recognize you from a little bit ago. Let's welcome the new year from title contenders to top 4 fighters.
Yeah, well, I think we're top 6 right now.
Look, it's Hugh Hefner.
Top 4 sounds a little ambitious right now, the way we're playing. We're lucky to stay in the top 4.
Listen, top 4. do we readjust our expectations? Do we take the stress off ourselves a little bit and say, look, we're just not that team that are going to fight Liverpool?
Hello, Stan. I know, I said hello to Tony. I just went off rambling at him, but I think I've just been this game. I've been happy to just go and chat it up and all of that. But Dan's in his robe, I guess. He's is that the robe he got on, or is that actually an Arsenal kit?
No, I'm in robes. It's early. Early for me.
Happy New Year for what it's worth, right? Yeah. So all of you out there, Stan, Gary, Tony. Partey is just as valuable as Saliba. We will be different when he's back. Unfortunately for Timber 2, Arteta's done an okay job, but his squad team selection is questionable sometimes. Reece Nelson.
But it could be
we're not going to be right until everybody's healthy, because that's what we showed today.
But
think about it. We bought Kiwior in today, and Kiwior did nothing defensively. He wasn't defensively stout like we expected him to be. So for me, what's the difference between him and Zinchenko? Nothing, because he needed to stand up, and he couldn't. He didn't, and he left. He got, so it doesn't help. So for me, it sounds like until Partey, Timber are back, we're gonna be struggling because
Yeah, but Partey you don't get back until middle of February, end of February because AFCON.
We're not even sure he's going yet. Now he probably will be going, but there's no confirmation yet. He hasn't been named on that provisional squad to Ghana yet. No, Marcus says not worth it. Just don't enjoy it now. I've lost sleep over it. Look, I think we've all said Arsenal play some bloody good football. We play some great, attractive football. We just don't score goals, and it's all about scoring goals. You know,
It's not great and beautiful unless you're getting the goals, right?
we play some of the best approach play, Tony. Some great play in midfield, in defense, even through our forwards, but we don't have that.
We've spent the last two
all right, you're
episodes.
screaming at us again. Stop screaming at us.
I'm barely talking. But we spent the last two. You spent the last two saying how slow we are. You spent 20 minutes on it earlier on how slow we are. We're slow. You got Martinelli.
so-
You got to use with speed and go.
How
out.
about we do this? How about we hear from Stan?
Yeah.
He's gonna make
He's
us
like-
smile. He's gonna turn that frown upside down.
He's like a judge, Gary. He's like the judge.
No,
He's just
let
like
him speak.
Stan just looks like he's trying to wake up. Just give him a little bit of time. He'll wake up.
No, I'm just listening to you. I'm just listening and being patient.
Yeah.
So
All right, what
here's
have
the
you got,
thing, right?
Stan?
So here's the thing. I actually felt that this was coming. And if you look at the tweet that I put out before I went to bed last night, I said something like, I've never felt this nervous in a long time now going into a game. And for me, I just felt like that we were after the last performance, I didn't think that being so toothless in attack was going to change in the next game overnight, miraculously. And that's where the problem is. You know, even though we have this really good defensive record, for me, from what I'm seeing with my eyes, we're not able to keep enough clean sheets and we're not able to score enough goals. So if you've got both of those things happening at the same time, then that's going to lead to you lose games, right?
Yes.
And the only way that I think that we can fix it is that we need about another 4 players that are good enough to be starters in our team. Another 4 players. So even though we can only field 11, what that does is that's going to give us a competent bench that's chomping at the bit, and a bench with players that could be in the first team. And then that's where you now have better competition, better rotation, and tactically in games, when you're looking to try, if you're chasing the game, you don't have to look to the bench and think, well, I've only got Reece Nelson and I've only got Eddie. You know, and people of that caliber who aren't really known for coming on and being able to, you know, there's no drop off. There's a huge drop off when you put those 2 on, and that's where the problem is for me. We're toothless in attack. If you look at Liverpool, they've got so many options of how they can change around their front 3 and still look quite scary. We don't have that. So when our front 3 players aren't doing it, we don't have anyone else. We've got to keep playing them and keep playing them. You know?
Yeah.
Unless
Odegaard's further back now.
Would be starters, and that would be, for me, that would be another defensive player, another midfielder, another player that can play wide, and obviously the key one, a striker.
The money. I don't think the money, and we've danced around this a little bit for a few months. I don't think the money's gone in the right areas of the field. Talk about Havertz, and he persists in playing Havertz in midfield in that left 8. But we know he can be more effective up front. We have 2 strikers at the club, Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah, who probably won't get past 10 goals this season if we're lucky. If we're lucky, they'll get more than 10 goals each. And we have maybe a solution to Havertz who could play up front and be more physical and give us more ability up front. And, you know, we got to be looking at Havertz for the Liverpool game, because Van Dijk and whoever else is going to play alongside him will eat Jesus. You know what I mean, Gary?
No, we just have too many questions right now. We have
Mhm.
too many questions. Which one of our 11 players is the answer right now? Besides, I'm going to go with Rice is probably the only answer right now that we have. What other of the 10 players do we have
Saliba,
is the answer?
Saliba, Gabriel. We got to
Okay.
stay with Gabriel and Saliba.
All right. All right.
Gab
So
style.
our fullbacks, we don't have an answer until we get healthy.
Fullbacks are a big issue.
All right. We Erdegaard and the Xhaka position, we don't have an answer there. Our front three, we don't have an answer there. Right
Not
now,
consistent. Yeah.
there's no answers there, and like we don't even have it. Like Arteta goes to the bench, still no answers. I mean,
The problem is, Gary, is that where we're at, we don't even have multiple choice. You got like you don't have a four like you do. Just guess. You pick C or
What did
whatever.
when Arteta came to the club? What did he do? He stripped it down, right? He stripped it down and started over. He did that generally at the club, but I think now we have to do that with the first 11. Strip it down and start over.
how can our 11 be worse than it was last season? We've gotten better, right?
Because we're
Supposedly,
playing.
right?
Yeah,
Well, that's the problem right there. Why is our 11 worse than last season when we did everything we're supposed to? We said
we
we're gonna
have,
get,
like I said earlier, I referenced earlier, we're taking Erdegaard, we're playing him in a deeper role, and we're sort of binning off at least 10 goals in a season.
That's what happened to him at the very start of last season. He had defensive responsibilities. So did Saka, and we asked him fullback. At this point, you can't say that White's good enough. So it's almost fullback is almost a requirement of the winter window.
Mm-hmm. Look, I had a lot of fun watching Goldbridge yesterday. I laughed and laughed.
Well, you know what? That's right there.
that.
It's a problem, right? We enjoyed that yesterday, and then today they're all doing the same thing right back at us.
So,
Going, you know what? And you know what? What a Manchester United fan said, which is pretty true.
Marcus,
I always say we need to take the next game into the next one, right? We played Liverpool. We got the draw at Anfield. We all looked at that and said, all right, it's hard to win there, blah, 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 all this stuff. So, but we need to build on it, right? We need to build on that draw because we're playing teams that are worse than Liverpool. And what do we do in the next two big games after that? We basically went from toothless in attack to just toothless. Like, hold my beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 30 shots, no goal, 77 touches in the box, toothless in the box. Then we say, guess what? Hold my beer. Let's go do it again. But we're going to go even further. We're going to do even worse. We're going to tease you. Come out of the blocks. Bang. You're like, yes, this is a good way to start the match. We score early in the match. And then next thing you know, wow. Wow. It's upsetting, yeah.
And for
and
all
like I
of
said, like Sam says, and I think we're all Arteta is to blame for all of this. He created all the drama that's with this team. He's created all of it himself.
Well,
and he has no answers for it, and
Yeah.
he has no players that want to back him up on his suggestions, movements, changes, and all of that. Right? Most players would just go, "All right, coach, you think I can do this? I'll go do it for you. If I'm Erdegaard, I'm the captain. You're gonna push me back further on the pitch. I'm gonna make sure it works. Right? That's what captains do. I always go back to Jordan Henderson. Coach says, you need to play on the back line and defend for me. Guess what he did? He went back on the back line and played for me. I need you to play in the midfield. I need you to help maintain the midfield support for me. He went and did that. That's what we want out of a captain.
Yeah.
Erdegaard is, I think, still a little bit too young for that kind of responsibility, but that's what we want out of them, right? Like who's like today's game? We go down, they score the first goal. Who's basically saying we get it back? We go down 2, right? 2-1. Who's supposed to come up and tell us who's actually out there pissed off that we just gave up that ugly goal?
The urgency was not there. The urgency was not there.
The only fire I saw was Gabriel and Rice going at it during one of the plays.
It was
in the first half, right?
It was 1-1, and my notes say Arsenal need to go and grab this game at 1-1 before the second goal went in. I came back. I went away, came back. It was 2-1. I thought momentarily Arsenal scored 2-1, but it was a horrible, horrible, scrappy goal conceding. and we're 2-1 down, and we didn't look like we were going to get a goal back. And so, again, all these permutations going through your head. Well, that's it. We're supposed to be winning this game to go back on top of the league, albeit for 24 hours, if that was the case. Leon Shorter said a toothless tiger can at best scare the opponent but can't kill it. That's Arsenal for you. Yeah, and the memes are out there, I think, of, not quite scary things. Arsenal being that.
I saw somebody say that Jesus at one point was playing left back or something like that because he put a tackle in for the back line. It's like Lacazette all over again, Like either Arteta, as I say, and I repeat myself 100 times. Either he's coaching it or he's letting it happen. All right.
He coaches it. That's the problem. These guys don't believe in it because Arteta doesn't make changes. He's set in stone what he's going to do. The only thing that he's ever did was this back when we won the FA Cup, going back to the back three. Other than that, it just keeps on. This is what I want. This is what I expect from you. And there's no plan B. There's no other questions to answer.
And look, you're bound to be affected by losing out on a title last season in the last weeks. And you're bound to look for ways.
But based on that, how do you have any confidence? Because you had top four in your hand a couple of times. And you threw that away. You definitely have a championship in your hand. You were way better than City was, and still just screwed it up and bottled it like our noisy neighbors.
So Sam's asking the question here. Gary raised an interesting point. We do have the same players that did really well last season. What has changed? You have to look at Arteta as a big part of this. We did gut part of our midfield through injury and a sale to Germany. Gary says he needs Stan to talk because he looks too relaxed. You're too calm, Stan. What's going on?
Well, I do have something that I'd like us to try. I've got a list here of every single one of Mikel Arteta's signings, the players that he signed, and I'd like to run through them quickly, and basically to play a game of which ones have worked out and which ones haven't. Yeah.
You just want to show our hands up, thumb up, thumb down to make it easy.
You can just say, right? I'll go through the names, and you can let me know whether we can just quickly say whether we feel the player has worked out or not.
Thumb up, thumb level, or thumb down. Right?
It's kind of. I can't do it with this hand.
I can't see you. Right? I can't see you because I'm on another screen now.
No problem. No problem. Right. So yeah, go ahead. We'll tell you.
So the first one we've got, right? I think and this is the obvious one, which obviously I think we can all say has worked out, and that's Declan Rice. I think that's quite equal that we can all say that Declan Rice has worked out. Yes. The next one on the list is Kai Havertz. And for me personally, I would say that for me the jury is still out because it does look like he's beginning to get a bit of a purple patch and putting some goals in.
Let's say undecided.
For me, I'm going to say the jury's still out.
He's only started playing well for me in my eyes, anyways. Once I said, you know what, I'm giving up on him, actually giving us what we need this season because it's going to take him some time. So for me, I was like, next year maybe we'll see the fruits of our labor and he'll come through. But right now, I'm like, it's not working.
So it should have happened or not for you?
It's not working out. No.
Undecided.
Like for 65 mil, we needed somebody to play yesterday. 65 mil, you play yesterday. If Timber for 30 mil can show me day one, he's good to go. For 65 mil, we need to already feel like, you know what, he costs more than Jesus.
But you know that 65 million is wasted because it went to the midfield. It should have been
if I'm hearing you correctly, Gary, he hasn't worked out now.
We'll get to one word answers.
I think that's what I'm picking up on from Gary.
It's not working. Yes, you're right.
Now listen, Ray, what I want you to do, Ray, I want you to keep a tally of worked out and not worked out. So far we've had 2, right?
You want me to write this down?
Yeah, just keep a tally.
Okay.
We've had 1 that works out, Declan Rice. One. And Tony, what about you for Kai Havertz?
Not working out. Only ways that work out if Arteta plays him up front. He's not going to do that. I don't
So
think.
even though me and Ray are undecided there, it still shows that nobody's actually said that it's worked out. So I said that's one that hasn't worked out. All right, that's one each.
Okay.
So the next one for me, I think has worked out is Ben White. I think that's worked out.
I think it's starting to get question marks. Ray's the same way.
I agree with you.
No, I
Tony.
think it's worked out. The reason why I think it hasn't worked out is because you can see the difference when Timber. You see the difference now with what we want now out of our fullback. When you look
I'm
at
not winning the
Timber,
title
so
here. Right?
I think this is what people. I think I've heard this on like I know some of you guys don't follow Tom Catton as much, but one of the things he said is when we bring in a player, we need to bring in a player that pushes our starters to the bench. All right.
Yeah.
Timber pushes somebody to the bench when he plays, right? Rice push somebody to the bench when he plays, right?
Look.
Jesus comes in, he pushes somebody to the bench. Now we're realizing the levels of Jesus, we're realizing the levels of Ben White, Zinchenko, and we're going, damn, we still need to improve on it, right? So we need somebody that pushes them to the bench. So Ben White has worked, but he's just created another level that we need to step above.
Don't forget the start of a season.
Why are you screaming at us?
I'm barely talking. Here, let me adjust
So
this
has
on
it
the
worked out or not?
microphone.
Is it just me or is he screaming at me?
He's Basil Faulty.
Hang on. Has he worked out or not? I think
Yes,
he has.
he's worked out. He's worked out.
No,
Are you are you happy now, Gary?
As I said, the reason why you don't think he's worked out is because you saw Timber. That's it.
That's no.
What's the criteria? Winning a title is the criteria. If Ben White is good enough back for you,
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So who isn't good enough? When you start Partey as your right back. Is it
Tony? We'll get to Partey. Tony, you're going up the
No.
list. We're going to
I'm going with Ben White because Ben White started as center back.
Last season Ben White wasn't the reason why we didn't win the league. I'll tell you that much. And we had a chance to win the league with Ben White starting for us. So he's not the problem why, right? Huh?
Right, we're undecided. That's 2-2.
Okay, I thought he worked out. Okay. Gabriel Jesus, for me, I'm going to say hasn't worked out. He doesn't score enough goals for me. Hasn't worked out. Okay.
No.
Anyone else? Would anyone else argue with that?
There's a high price, 51 million when he had 6 months left. He's not a striker. He's a winger. Not good enough.
Okay. Hasn't worked out. The next one is Thomas Partey. For me, hasn't worked out. We don't get enough appearances.
Yeah, but that is just down to injury. That's down to availability.
No, but when he wasn't injured, when he first started, Ray, we didn't see a guy
Jesus doesn't score goals for us, so then we go, no, it's all right.
We didn't see a guy that we saw.
It's one negative of the players. All the players' abilities have to be considered, right?
Ray, we had all these conversations.
Of the games he's been available for.
We had all these conversations starting off about, we don't see what Thomas Partey we did at Atletico. Give him time. Then all these injuries came up. He's just not good enough. Plus he's not going to be available until the end of February.
I'm not saying that he's a bad footballer because he's a very good footballer. But for me, he hasn't worked out because he's only been able to play 30% of the games available since he signed for us.
I'll go along with that.
He hasn't worked out.
Okay.
So Partey hasn't worked out. The next one is Yuri and Timber. And for me, I'm going to say we haven't seen enough of him. So I can't give an answer.
Yeah.
Literally a couple of times.
I don't know. I've seen
yet to be determined.
I've seen enough to say yes with Timber.
Yet to be determined, I think. As Tony says.
I think he's given us a glimpse of what we were missing and what we need. So for me, I think it's worked out because if that's the talent ID that they're looking for at that position,
that's the problem, Gary. That's just a glimpse. Most of the
members of the panel
most of that was in a preseason, Gary.
You're screaming at me once again. I can't hear you.
I barely have it turned up.
No, I'm just doing it just to do it. But no, I hear you.
He needs some dampers in his room. It's echoey.
No, I like I said, I am like for me watching Timber and the minutes that I did see him play was like when I saw Tierney.
Tavares.
First, when I saw no, come on, dude. When I saw Tierney play after he had hurt his arm, whatever, and I was like, well, that looks like a good left back for us, right? That's what we're looking for, that type of footballer, all right? So I didn't need to see him play for an entire season at that point to go, well, that sounds like the answer that they're looking for at that position at the time. He since has, been injured a lot more.
Okay, we like what we've seen, but we can't definitely say that it's worked out because he's literally.
Well, you can't give us an answer based and say you're asking for the future now.
To be determined, isn't it? We have to say yet to be determined. So he's safe. We're not saying anything bad, are we? We're just saying we're going to see more. It's promising, right? But he got injured, so we can't even count him. To be fair. Okay. So the next one,
not applicable. Not applicable. Then I'm sorry. Move on.
He's not applicable. Exactly. He's yet to be. He's not applicable. So the next one, which might be a little bit controversial, is Martin Odegaard. And for me, I would say that it's worked out. He may be going through a bit of a patch now, but I think he's worked out.
Yes. There's a player there if you put him in the right position.
Yeah, I think that the problem is people keep wanting to compare him to KDB, and I think it's not a good comparison because he's not at that anywhere near that level yet.
Last season.
So it's not.
I think.
No, see, exactly. That's what I don't know. He's not at that level. There's no. They don't go
last season.
They don't go in the same sentence. No.
He did it last season.
No, he doesn't go in the same sentence.
The same.
Just because you scored, just because some player scored the same number of goals as Messi this year doesn't mean they're at the same level and get to talk about it with Messi. You don't.
Yeah,
no.
That's the wrong person.
It does no, Ray. Please don't, Ray. Ray, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
All I'm saying, Gary, is
no. You're gonna say too much. You've already said too much.
What are we gonna put him then? Where are we putting Martin Odegaard? I think he's worked out.
He's worked out for him, but he's not what Ray's talking about.
Yeah, he is.
All right, so he's worked.
He is.
Put him in
he's not at a KDB level. Stop it, people.
He's playing in a defensive role.
You know what? Then Nketiah's at an Henry level. Then if you're gonna go that crazy and say,
well, we'll see what KDB does when he comes back. Maybe he's going to be deployed.
It doesn't matter what he's gonna do.
It depends. Where is he going to play? If he plays in a deeper position.
If KDB never plays another game,
hey Gary,
you're going to say he worked out.
Ray. He raised his voice.
Gary, come on. KDB doesn't wear a red jersey. Come on.
I'm trying to let Sam talk because I could go on.
All right.
You're keeping score. Are you keeping the tally, Ray?
Yeah, we have about White. We're undecided about. We have Rice and Odegaard. Yes. Havertz, Jesus, Partey, and Timber. No, even though Timber's to be determined.
So the next one, right? And this one breaks my heart big time. And that's my main man, Teabag, Fabio Vieira, which obviously I have to say, for me, hasn't worked out up to now.
Yeah, but here's a big question, Stan. Has he not worked out because he's not got the minutes from Arteta?
No.
Well, when I've seen him play,
he's not good.
He hasn't. To me, when he's played, he hasn't done anything that makes you want to say we've got to pick him.
I was just pulling one of those cards out to you usually.
No,
Devil's advocate card.
Timber showed us more in 45 minutes than Vieira has in all the minutes he's played. All of them, even last season to this season.
Okay, so no.
He has to gain like 25 pounds to have a chance to be.
Can we call him Teabag because he might not be?
No, I don't even know who that player is. Can you name him by his mama called him what?
Teabag.
No, that is definitely not what she called
Terrence. Terrence.
Come on, he liked the Instagram when he was called Teabag, so
I don't like that name.
The next one, and the next one for me, and I would say that no, it hasn't worked out, and that for me is Zinchenko. Hasn't worked out for me. Don't know what's going on. Don't know how you guys feel.
At this point last year, me and Ray were sitting there talking about him as a player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is
when teams are setting themselves up to target that area because it's the weak link, that tells me that it's not working out.
Is he been playing? Is he been playing?
Is he playing in
the wrong position?
And not only is it the entrance, he's actually holding the door open for him and showing them in. There you go. This way in.
Should he be a left back? Then?
You know what? If Arteta thinks that he has to play left back, then it hasn't worked out because that means that he has That's it, because Arteta's the problem. But
He's
Checo has
either a
to play better.
midfielder or a wing back. He's
Nah, we
hasn't
can't
worked
do
out
that.
for me.
It's not working out. It's
All
not
right,
working
I'd
out.
have to say no this season.
Okay. The next one, and again, okay, the next one is Aaron Ramsdale. And as much as I like him, it hasn't worked out because he's on his way out of the team, probably. It looks like we're going to be
I don't
selling
know.
him. So
But-
it hasn't worked out. If it had worked out, he'd still be in goal. We would have brought in David Raya. So you've got to put yourselves in
Yeah,
the eyes of the manager.
can I
right?
ask
It
a
hasn't worked
question,
out.
Stan? Can I ask
Yeah.
a question? Would you want Ramsdale to start against Liverpool in the FA Cup next weekend?
Yes.
Right, I would too. Gary, would
But
you
I don't-
like
but
Ramsdale
I don't think
to
it
play?
will. So it hasn't worked out.
I know, but no, but
He's not being
you
picked.
no, but then you're admitting that he has been good for the team.
Yeah. But it's no different to Partey not being available. It's a similar thing, right? If the manager wants to get rid of this guy and
Yeah.
and it looks like he could be up for sale, then that's because it hasn't worked out, right? Doesn't matter what I like, and if I want him to play,
Forget
but
about
it
it.
obviously hasn't worked out because he's going
Right.
to be on the market. That's what I'm getting at.
Statistically,
Hasn't worked out.
he hasn't been good, and Arteta went and bought a replacement. So fail.
Would you pick Ramsdale next weekend, Gary?
I don't like I don't like having two goalkeepers. I don't like it.
Would you
if
play him?
would I play him?
He's your cup
Yeah.
keeper. Would you play him?
You have
Would you
to
have
play him.
confidence with Ramsdale?
He's your cup keeper. Of course, you got to play him. But
So
I
he's not
would.
that- He's not that play though, right? Because they're
Well, you know
Hasn't
what?
worked
Like,
out.
like
He will
okay,
play.
okay,
No, he
forget about all that stuff. So we have one game in a basically a 3 or 4 week in a 3-week period.
Yes.
Do you play your number one goalkeeper? Or do you go, nah, I'll play my cup keeper because that's when he plays. Like we have one game in the next three and a half weeks.
Outside of any prospective buyers who may not want the player to be cup tied, I would play Ramsdale. If there was no issues with being cup tied, say Newcastle won him for 55 million and we're going to sell him for 55, I would do that. But I would also play Ramsdale if possible. You know?
But has he worked out,
I think he has.
Tony?
I don't
Yes
think
or
he
no?
is. Now when we've already
Gary,
got a
Gary,
replacement for
Gary
him.
got to decide and vote then. Gary's got withdrawn. You've got to decide and vote, Gary. What do you think?
Has Ramsdale worked out, or will he play next week? I
Yeah.
forget which one. Has he worked out?
Has he
No.
worked
Has he worked out?
No.
Okay.
He hasn't worked out for all the reasons like we have Raya. That's why it hasn't worked out. Right?
I
The
agree.
reason why
Yeah, but is Raya better?
it doesn't matter. He doesn't
I'm asking your opinion.
it doesn't
He's
matter.
better. Raya's better.
No.
What's your opinion,
They-
Gary?
You know what? They both suck. All right. That's what I'm going to say. Like, because we need better. We need better than Ramsdale. We need better than Raya. So they're
Which
both
is the better keeper?
none of them.
Raya or
None of-
Ramsdale?
I want another. We need. Arteta's just proven himself correct. He still doesn't have a goalkeeper. He went out there,
Gary,
did all he could to bring in another one, and he found out. Guess what? I need better than Raya. I need better
I'm
than
gonna-
Ramsdale.
I am
Which one got
switching-
the penalty stop, right?
I am
It
switching.
doesn't matter, Tony.
I am
don't have a
switching my
goalkeeper
stance.
now.
I am switching my personal stance. I think Ramsdale is a better keeper than Raya now. There, I've said it.
Nope.
Gary,
Who catches the ball? That's Raya.
both of them.
Who gets the ball out further? That's Raya. Who gets it out faster? It's
All right,
Raya.
so Tony,
Who gets the crowd pumped up? It's Ramsdale. So that's
Tony,
the only thing he's
you're
good at.
saying the goals we conceded are not David Raya's fault.
It's a mix, but he's
Yeah, but
he's better than Ramsdale.
okay, all right, fair. Gary, I just want your opinion. That's all
Yes,
I
sir.
want. Who's the better keeper, Raya or Ramsdale?
Raya.
Okay. Stan?
Raya, you know why Raya is? Because you're going to tell me all these things about Ramsdale. One is because of the goal we scored today, and offensively, Arteta, that's what he wants out of his goalkeeper. Somebody who's going to help support us in the attack going forward. Because right now we actually need it. Without Raya making the moves that he did on that attack, starting from the back, we don't score today.
Ramsdale would have done the same thing.
Ramsdale would have not. No, if he would have put the ball on his feet and probably
Ramsdale would have thrown the ball out to Havertz. Havertz demanded the ball.
How often has he done that? He usually kicks it.
No. Come on, be fair.
No, you make up your mind. No,
I've seen Ramsdale roll the ball out to a player on the edge of the box as well. Ramsdale can play the ball out just as well as Raya.
No, he can't. He can't do the long balls and near as accurate.
All right.
Burnley goalkeeper Trafford, best goalkeeper after our Allison, future England goalkeeper. Trafford's pretty decent. Raya looks like a Spanish dog trainer. Okay.
What does that have to do with it?
Hendon Gooder, happy New Year to you as well. Told you all back at the end of last season, this was another season to write off under this fraud of a manager. Look, I think we still have a cup competition to play next week.
Arteta is proving all the doubters correct.
Yeah, but Ray, why did we care about cups? We got rid of Wenger because we weren't competing for title. So what does the FA Cup have to do with anything?
Tony, if you're in a season where up until Christmas you're competing for a league, and we're probably saying now we're in it, but we don't look good. We don't look like we're going to challenge into February, March, or April. Then you have an FA Cup and a Champions League to contend with. Wouldn't you want to say as a fan, I want to win something? You know? Every season that Arteta's not prioritized the FA Cup, I've wanted the team to progress in each of those.
I want to be playing in the Champions League, and we're not seeing if we'll finish ahead of fourth or not, let alone challenging, which why we got rid of Wenger, because we wanted a challenge. But the owners have super backed Arteta.
Yeah.
But he's stubborn. He won't make the changes. He's set in his ways. That's not that change.
Well, if we can get down this list, we'll find out whether the rating.
I was just going to say, is there any more, Stan? Because let's spend some time getting through this.
I think we're going to spend like an hour on Stan's list.
No, but I want to get through a few other things then as well, Stan. So, yeah, let's get through the list.
So the next one is Gabriel Megalegs. I think he's worked out.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The next one is Kiwior. I don't think he's worked out.
He hasn't worked out because he wasn't better than Rob Holding.
No,
he's
not. He's not better than White. And if I'm critical of White, then I'm critical of Kiwior.
Okay. The next one is Trossard. Again, for me, unfortunately, I don't think he's worked out. He's very inconsistent. He gets opportunities. He comes off the bench and does good things. So then he gets a starting. Then he gets a starting position because he looks like he's earned it, and he doesn't pay you back.
I'm gonna go with.
I think he's worked out.
I'm gonna go with he has worked out. He's contributed to the team when needed. Not every time, but you can't expect one player to come on and give you everything you want.
Look what he did. Look what he did when
I'm kind of 50-50.
last year.
You're turning me, Ray.
He's contributed. You can't expect Trossard to be that first sub to come on and change a game for you single-handedly. You expect the player to contribute through the season.
Stan, how did he do last year when Jesus was out? That's the best star attacker.
Very well.
Our goal numbers went up by a mile.
I've changed my mind, Tony. He's worked out. Gary.
No. So what is it? So the question is, who are we on now?
Trossard.
Has it worked out? No, I mean, Arteta's killed it, man. He just basically said, how does Trossard go from being 9 goal scorer? What does he have, a hat trick at the Anfield or something like that? Comes to Arsenal. No, let me talk. Let me talk.
It's 3-1. It's 3-1.
It's 3-1. It's an academic vote, Gary.
You guys asked me to chat. Let me talk.
One word answers.
No, you guys were chatting. I listened to you chat for you rambled on.
You didn't know what player we were on, Gary.
Exactly, because I was trying to tune it out, or else I would jump in and interrupt. I didn't want to do that.
You switched off, Gary. You switched off.
No, like I said, Trossard I think isn't working, and it's not his fault. It's Arteta's fault.
All right, so Trossard is yes.
Trossard is the same reason why Zinchenko doesn't work, because Tony will tell you Zinchenko shouldn't be playing as a left back. Well, if that's the case, then the Trossard is the same thing. Trossard should be part of this team and part of a rotation, and he's not. So basically, you're getting nothing out of him, and you basically have just wasted, like you wasted him. You're wasting him now.
Next one up.
All right. Tomiyasu. For me, I'm going to say for the same reasons
Yes.
as Thomas Partey, he hasn't worked out because he's not available enough for me. Not available enough. I
As
love
a whole,
him. I like him.
we'll take his Arsenal career.
What he does when he does play. I like what he does when he does play, and he's
All right.
handy in a few
I
positions.
say
He
yes.
doesn't play enough.
I say he's worth it.
No,
Tony,
that's not the
Tony?
question. That is not the question. Is
Yes,
he
it
worth
is.
it? No, the question is, has it worked out? And is his
I'd say
availability
yes.
his availability has worked out for you? You see him all the time when it's needed. In the big games, Tommy
Gary,
was there.
all
leading the team.
players get injured. You have to accept.
No. For his entire time here at this squad, has he been available when we needed him? It's an easy
No, but
answer.
that's not a reason.
No is the answer. He is not.
Injury is not a reason to.
What do you mean
He's-
injury is not a reason? We just said Partey is a no because it's not working out. Because
He's
why?
our
He's not
he's
available.
our third best defender. He was a good.
Correct.
Right, you
He
can't
was
say
a good player to
Partey
scout.
doesn't work and then Tomiyasu does. Why? Because he played a lot more games this
Yes.
season than Partey?
Tomiyasu is more available than Partey.
This season.
All seasons.
No. Even when he was available last season, Arteta said, guess what? No thanks.
Gary, you
Tony,
defended him
Tony,
last
Tony,
season when I went
Tony's
after
got
him.
the deciding vote.
We
Tony, you got the
switched
deciding
around.
vote.
I agreed with Ray. I think he's good enough.
He locked down Salah.
We're not answering the question.
A player who can lock
Partey's
down.
good enough.
He locked down Salah.
Partey's better than Tomiyasu. So why is it? Where's the love for Partey?
Tomiyasu's our third best defender, and he's not playing.
That's a yes.
And Partey, when he's healthy, is what? Where does he sit?
So it's 50-50 then.
He should be on the
50-50
bench.
on Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu is yes.
50-50. Well, I said no.
Tomiyasu's not yes if it's
You said Tony had the deciding votes then.
Well, he could have, but he's drawn it.
He went along with me. Tony went.
I agreed with Ray.
50-50. That's
50-50.
2 each.
Okay.
50-50.
All right, 50-50.
Lakonga hasn't worked out.
No. Come on.
Move on.
Next,
on.
please.
Tavares.
Jorginho.
No.
Jorginho, for me, I think he's worked out. Jorginho.
Yes.
He's worked out for me.
He's not played enough.
No. He has played perfectly. This is how Willian should have been played when he came. He was not supposed to be a starter for us for 30 games. He wasn't.
Exactly.
Jorginho was supposed to come in and support our midfield when Partey was out. Right? That's what he was for. Because we needed some depth. We needed some experience behind Partey. This is exactly what he's providing to us. When we have to depend on him to see out a whole month of football,
it's not a drama. It's not a drama club.
He
It's
hasn't
not a
been
dance
used
class.
enough.
No. But everybody has a role on this squad.
Yeah.
The number 2 goalkeeper comes in when? In our cup matches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Jorginho comes in when Partey is out, when Rice is out, right? That's exactly his role is what it is, and he's playing it perfectly. The way he's being used.
Partey's been gone most of the season, Gary, and
because we have Rice now, Tony. But we didn't have Rice last season. We had Jorginho, and he actually came in and did a job for us when we needed it.
What happens if Rice gets injured?
He cannot be a starter for us on a regular basis.
My answer is no. Right?
For who? Jorginho. Okay.
Jorginho.
3-1. Overruled, Tony.
I thought you said no, right?
Stan. I said
yes.
So the next one, right? We can do 4 in a row, 4 in one hit here, right? And those 4 are, and it's for me, it's all a big resounding no. Pablo Mari, Nuno Tavares. Oh, for some reason, Pablo Mari's on here twice. So
I like your way. He's not our player anymore, though. He got sold,
no, he's talking about Arteta.
Yeah,
Arteta signing.
Oh, okay,
he signed him.
All right. Yeah.
So Pablo Mari, Nuno
right.
Tavares,
yeah.
Nuno Tavares, Matt Turner, and Marquinhos. All no for me.
No.
Correct, sir.
All no.
We move on.
Okay, right. So that's 4 no's. So the next one, the controversial one here, is David Raya.
I would go back to Ramsdale now.
That's not the question. Why did you answer the question? He asks you a question, and you
Okay.
tell him some nonsense about
I'm
something that
gonna
has
go
no
no.
bearing on the answer.
Yet
No.
to be determined
No.
for me.
Okay, Ray
No.
says no.
No.
Gary?
I say yet to be determined.
Gary?
You have to make a
Raya,
decision.
I say it's worked.
You have to make a decision, Tony.
Fine,
Yes.
it's work because he's better than Ramsdale.
Okay, 2-1. Yes, Stan.
Fuck.
I say no.
You say Tomiyasu is a, you say Tomiyasu is a yes.
No.
The man's played as much
No. I'm
football
going to
as
say no as
nobody.
well.
You know.
I'm going to say no, it hasn't worked.
This is
So what's that, 50-50 again?
just
Is that
stupid.
50-50?
This is stupid. Just because you guys aren't agreeing with me. This is why it's stupid. Yeah, I said it. I don't care. I said it.
Gary, your body language
That's
is
a no.
so. We can read you like a book, Gary. Come on.
Gary's got one of those
Right.
you know
It's
how
a
you
no.
buy
It's a no,
crayons
then,
and like
Stan. Right?
Gary's
Okay.
only got like
And-
the 8-pack of crayons. He wants like 64 different colors. He wants
So
about
we can
64
do another
crayons.
2 here in one hit. 2 in one hit, and for me they're both no, and that's Runnison and Trusty. No.
Why don't you just
Both
kick
of
me
us.
in
No, right?
the? Why don't you just kick me in the U-Haul and then go? Did that hurt?
You know,
Okay,
who
we're
wants to
almost
be
there.
who wants to be a millionaire, Stan? That's like the first question.
We're almost there, right?
Who
We've
wants
got
to be a
3 more
millionaire?
left. We've only got 3 more left, right? We've got 3 more left, and again they're all no, straight 3 no, and those 3 are Willian, signed him, that's a no. Cedric Suarez, that's a no, and some bloke called Matthew Ryan, that's a no.
I actually like I
So-
like Matty Ryan actually. So I'm going to say no. You're wrong on that one. Matty Ryan actually worked for us.
Yeah, he was decent.
He gave me Emmy Martinez vibes.
All
He was good in the air. He commanded the back line. Things that we were lacking from Leno at the time.
Emmy was at Arsenal for 10 years.
He would have worked out. He would have been better than Ramsdale if he stayed.
So is that yes or no then from everyone? You can have it if you want, because count it up, Ray. Count it up now. We've gone through every single player that he has signed, right? And how many are
Yeah.
there?
Declan Rice, Erdegaard,
Did
Miguel,
you have Mari in there?
Trossard, Tomiyasu was 50-50. Jorginho.
Just
So-
give me a count, please.
1,
Just count.
2, three.
It's like I don't care what player. Just four are good. Yeah.
4 good. Yeah.
And how many players are we talking about?
Stan's got the list. But
No,
don't
you have a
double
count
digit
there?
bad.
I didn't
double
write down
digit
4
bad.
at a time when he went through
No,
4.
the count of players that you evaluated. You didn't do
20.
that either. You don't have that.
20.
number
Hey,
there?
he's counting. Wait.
21.
So 20% of the players Arteta did well in signing.
No, 25%.
You
You're
said
right.
I thought
20.
you said 4. I thought you said
You're
4.
right. 20.
27 players.
Ray, you
27
flushed it,
players.
man. See, I know you're talking nonsense. You can't even
27
do
players.
27
math.
players.
Hey, this is not my show anymore. It's Stan's list.
So we did this, and we found out that 20%, even less than 20% of Arteta's
you Hafner's
players
list.
are
Tony,
not
Tony.
20% are good for the squad.
Tony,
So-
Hafner has a list of 27. He's only keeping 4. Something's wrong there.
But seriously, that we've just gone through all of his signings, and it
I
seems that
was
that-
thinking about that this morning.
there's a high majority of
Before-
players that haven't
Before
worked
Stan
out.
did this.
Yeah, look, you take a chance on a player and it either works out or it doesn't. And you have to get to certain levels. We started at 8th place, then we went to 5th place, and then we looked for players to get into the Champions League with. Okay, we're trying to build to a title here. And now we're at a point where we know some of these players, they're not going to make it at Arsenal, you know?
Like a lot of them aren't going to make
So
it. Right now.
15% of them worked. So that's not very
It's
good.
20-31. Tony's still interrupting Gary. Okay, so Stan, what are we going to do in January? We got to bring a player or 2 in, but we have to sell.
Stan, by the way, Stan, did you actually watch the game today?
Yeah, I did.
How about we talk about? I've been asking to talk about this game because I think it was necessary that we talk about and get it off our chest.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one other thing as well. I think that a lot of people were in the chat. I noticed earlier on were saying about how Thomas Partey will be a big boost for us when he comes back. I honestly believe that we've seen him play his last game for Arsenal already. I don't think he's ever coming back. He's going to get sold. I don't think we've seen him play for Arsenal again.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If the reason why is because they have a good idea of how they're going to proceed in the window, and that means they're bringing in somebody who's going to benefit the squad like we're missing, then so be it. Because you know what? We needed to sell him at some point anyways, right? So, like you can't sell him and then go, nope, we'll keep it in Kedia because you know what? That's fine. Tony's available, but you know we don't want to get into that one. You know that can't be it. It's got to be we need answers on the pitch like yesterday, right? The only answer we need somebody who's going to start for us, and we go. There we go. I don't care who sits.
Well, Gary, we need to look at a different way of playing as well, because this way of playing is not getting it done.
If you bring Tony into this squad, you're not asking him to play like Jesus. So you don't have to worry about him having to go back to the back line and defend. You're not asking him to come back and support the midfield. So the game state will change. And hopefully that pushes Erdegaard up the pitch furthermore, because guess what? He's going to have to do that, right?
He's got to be instructed to do that. He's been instructed to play deep.
If you bring in a Tony, that's what. If you bring in a Haaland, for example, right? Are you telling Haaland, you know what? I want you to play like Jesus because that's what I want out of my my center forward? No, you don't.
That's exactly what Arteta will say.
00 Slice X said, "Good day, guys. How life in football can change so quickly. For Christmas, we were top and happy. Less than a week after, we are fourth, not sixth, and miserable. Let's hope it gets back good. Have a happy new year." And
here's the thing, right? The players that we bring in, whoever they may be, they need to be from the same shelf that we got Declan Rice from. Because if we're not going to continue buying players of that kind of caliber, then there was no point in spending the 105 million on Declan Rice, because he can't do it on his own.
Yeah,
it's a game of 11. So if we're building a team, and we're showing that, well, this is where we shop now, right? This is where we're shopping. Like I said before, we're shopping in Harrods now. We've got to continue shopping in Harrods. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense just having the one.
Yeah, but we have to sell to go shopping there. So we have to figure out
financial fair play.
We need to shed a lot of weight.
Financial fair play says we have to sell. We have to do something there, Tony, in order to go and get a player in January. You know,
and I pondered Martinelli on Thursday night.
You did,
yeah,
you did. But I think Arteta is setting the narrative up so that we can accept Emile Smith-Rowe being sold. He's not playing Emile Smith-Rowe. He's not.
Yeah, but like I said, he's only to bring you 20. You get probably 25.
Emile Smith-Rowe should get you more than 20.
That's
only
Tony.
45. But Tony, we're not playing him. Why are we waiting for his value to go even further down? How is it going to get better? It's not going to get better.
Yeah, but there's no point of selling him if you're not going to be able to get enough money.
We're not going to play him, Tony. You have to wait. There's pros and cons to this thing. The pro is we keep him. We don't play him. His value goes down. He walks for free. Or you take the 20 mil today and you use it immediately.
He's got to be worth more.
I don't understand. We hold on to these players and then we never use them. We had 40 mil for Emile Smith-Rowe. What did we do? We held on to him, and that 40 mil went all the way down to where, guess what? He walked for free.
Yeah, that was Ainsley, right? You mean
what did I say?
Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh, sorry, I meant
it was another triple barrel.
I don't get this. We're going to keep these players because they're value, because we can't sell them for their value, and then we're going to let them walk anyways. And we're not going to play them either, so their value never goes up.
He's got to be worth in the 30s. Cupping
You got me cupping. You know what, Sam? I don't like you.
He got you good there. Come on.
No. You know what? Well, the fact that Stan was doing it, I knew it was probably a bad idea right there when Stan's doing it. The man's in his robe. You know, if that's Hugh Hefner, he's like,
All right, let's do the easy one.
he's
I was
got.
waiting for Tony. I was just waiting for
Tony.
Tony to cough.
Tony, let's do the easy one. Do you want to sell Ramsdale to Newcastle, Tony, for 50?
Well, I give that much for him, but
Why
You
wouldn't we
think
get
he's
50 for? Why would we not get 50 for Ramsdale?
because
Other
he's
than
not worth that much.
he is worth 50. There's an England goalkeeper going to Newcastle. Nick Pope is going to be out for 3 or 4 months, and Ramsdale's better than Nick Pope, in my opinion. You know, why would Newcastle not go and get a good goalkeeper?
I can tell you what he's. I got the whole team pulled up, Ray. I can tell
The
you
transfer market.
It's fairly accurate. It's 28 million euros
the word in the
going down.
sentence there, Tony, was fairly.
I
28
knew he was
million
going to
down.
transfer marked. I knew he was going. You've got it bookmarked, haven't you?
No, I was going there to see what they had Smith Rowe as.
All right,
Tony's
let's
just
talk
checking
about
his sources.
Ramsdale. Stan,
Hang on, let Tony check his
Ramsdale.
sources.
What should we be fetching for Ramsdale?
More than what we paid for him. A
Yeah,
profit. That's what I want to see. I want to see us turn a profit.
we paid 27,
That's all.
I think,
That's what I'm
something like
asking
that for Ramsdale. 30 million.
I'm just asking for us to turn a bloody profit for once and not rip up contracts and shit or get low balled. Make a profit. His value must have gone up. He's been picked for England. He wasn't being picked for England before he came to us.
And
So that means he must be. I'm doing it now. He must be elevated.
there's some big elephant balls. Right?
Surely his value's been elevated for the mere fact that he's an England contender. He wasn't before he came, so that means he's improved, which means he's worth more. Surely.
Moss has him
I'm a
going
mathematician, but
60 and 70. I think that's a little bit high. I think we're looking at 45 to 50. Probably
You know
for
what? I
Ramsdale.
don't agree with like keeping a player because their value, because what teams are offering for them is too low. Because guess what? We're not playing them. And you know
need
what
to make
happens?
room.
And exactly. I'd rather have a player that we're going to play than one we're not going to pay, whose value just continues to go down.
Need to make room in the squad for these players. If Emile Smith Rowe is going to sit on that bench, and he should have gotten some time today, he should have come on at some point. And if he's not going to play, unfortunately, a lot of people love Emile Smith Rowe, myself included. But the manager's not going to play him. We know the manager's not going to get fired at least this season.
Yet to be terminated. Right?
No,
you think Ramsdale, are we making plans behind the scenes to look for a replacement? Because then we'll need a second goalkeeper, right? Then that's more work that has to be done.
Yeah.
And we fell the last time because you went with Runnerson and he was not nearly enough.
We won't sell Ramsdale for 50 because he's being replaced by an overrated keeper worth 27 million. Wake up, Ray. The valuations of both keepers are different because
they're not, because if you're saying by playing Raya over Ramsdale that Ramsdale at 27 is the level that you want, and if you're going to tell me, wait, no, he's got to be better. Well, you're sitting. Someone will say you were sitting top of the table a week ago with Raya at the helm.
We got to have a Raya for 27, 30 million.
Yeah.
It's different. It just is. The ability of the goalkeepers will be similar, but the price tag will be different.
You think you've seen this before, where players come in, defeated another player, and then they sell them for a lot more outside of Chelsea, who's somehow figured out a method to the madness.
How much did we get out of him?
How often does this happen? Is this a regular occurrence? This isn't. You know what? We are not a normal team when it comes to selling. So you're expecting us to do the the amazing in the transfer market. We can't sell any of our players for what they're worth, right? We sold it for well over his mark. That everybody's like, can we do that again? And the question is no.
The voice of reason. The real price is what a club is willing to pay.
Nobody's paying 50 for Ramsdale because guess what? Ramsdale can concentrate for 90 minutes. Ramsdale's going to wind up the other.
All right, Gary.
Look at what we got for Amy. Look at what we got
play-
from Leno.
Let's play a
How
game.
much
Right?
did we get from Leno, Ray?
Hold on a second, Tony. I want to get Gary down to a number here. Let's play a game, Gary. I'm going to say 50. What value will Ramsdale move for? And whoever's closest will get bragging rights.
Ramsdale will go for 23.
Okay.
I'm just going it based on what we've seen in the past. Like, I'll be surprised
Right.
if it goes for more. We sold Emi Martinez, who went on and won a World Cup, won a Copa America or whatever it was. Right? We've seen that,
Yeah.
right? And we sold him for how much? Do you remember? Not
Yeah,
even
but that was
not even 13. He was
a few years ago.
And you're talking about talent, right? The talent between Emi Martinez and Leno, it was different. Emi Martinez was a higher quality goalkeeper than Ramsdale, and he went for 12.
The tipping point is 36.5 based on our valuation. So if we get above 36.5, I get bragging rights, and if it goes below 36.5, you get bragging rights on Ramsdale.
Oh, Gary's getting bragging rights. Ray, you'd be disappointed.
I listen. It's a shame we can't sell our number one goalkeeper.
But we didn't get $8 million for Leno.
An
Leno was a
goalkeeper.
shot stopper. Leno's the best shot stopper we've had.
We shall see what happens with Ramsdale. He's going to move probably this window. You can't see him going to the summertime. Ramsdale still being.
I mean, you have to sell him to get money because you got to get some different players in.
You have to, yeah. You have to.
You need.
And so
minimum as a fullback and a striker.
This window, Tony, is going to be a long one for Arsenal.
Isn't that the two positions you have to fill, Ray? Don't you
What's
have
that?
to get a fullback and striker? You have to go there, right?
Yeah. You're going to have to get a backup keeper now.
Well, we know that. But
if you sell a player, you're going to have to replace the player. Do you know what I mean?
I know, Ray.
We've got a keeper on loan at Wrexham, haven't we?
Okonkwo. And maybe Hayne could be a backup. I'm not. Are people comfortable with Hayne being the backup for the rest of the season? You know, these are questions that the club are going to have to answer. If Ramsdale goes without being replaced, then we have Hayne stepping in as your backup behind Raya. And that might help Raya settle a little bit. I think it's probably settled down over the last few weeks, the goalkeeper thing. But Raya will feel then as the undisputed number one. So do you think Eddie and Keddy is getting sold?
Nope.
Okay. Do you think
he's the only striker we have, right?
If Ramsdale goes, who else is going to go with him to raise some cash?
Mr. Farrell,
I think
Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah. We got more than enough players to sell. If we think about it, if we need to make 50 mil, we can sell 4 or 5 players to get 50 mil, and if some of that means that Nketiah goes to Brentford and we get some money back, and maybe we get I don't know if we get enough, but that might be what we have to do.
You can sell one player and get 50 mil.
Who's the player? Who's the players we want to come in? Tony. Okay. Ivan Toney.
I don't.
I don't know who else are going to bring in for what? Are you going to bring in one player? Or who are you going to bring in?
I would prefer Osimhen personally.
No, I get the if Arsenal thinks they cannot get Osimhen for whatever reason.
Yeah, remember
we've been knocking at that door for 2 years. Apparently,
why can't you get the things that can be done? You could loan with a guarantee to buy, and you can have money being paid in installments and stuff like Nicolas Pepe. There's things that can be done, incentive bonuses. If you're asking me, the question you asked me was, you all said, yeah, Tony. And I said, no, not for me. And you said, who? And I said, I would prefer Osimhen. That was my answer.
Yeah, but we're talking about this window, and that's probably not realistic for this window, right?
All you have to do is sell. You sell Ramsdale.
You've got the money. If you've got a buyout clause, you raise the money, and you don't have to pay it all in one go. But if you commit to it, then why not? The
If you
release
sell
clause.
Ramsdale and
Yeah, I hear
Martinelli,
you,
you
Stan.
got my money.
Activate that.
Ramsdale, Martinelli pays for it.
Martinelli.
Martinelli, where's he going?
Tony Seldom.
Martinelli.
Tony's
Slip that one
telling
in.
Tony's selling Martinelli just like Tony is like, you know what? I don't think this Saliba thing's gonna work out. That's basically what that's a similar
That's what
level
the
of
whole team was
It's
saying. He
like
wasn't
you've walked
progressing
into a room,
enough.
right? You've walked into a room and you've gone, Tony, what are you doing in that big box? He's like, nothing. You go, you sure? What are you doing in that big box? No, nothing. And you look inside and it's Martinelli. It's about to be sent to the post office.
if you Tony, if you are if you're looking at a manager and a director of football, and they tell you, you know what, I've got Martinelli, I've got Saka out on my wings, I've got Saliba, I've got Margolis sitting on my back line, I've got Rice sitting in the middle of those four players, and then you go, guess what? I think the best thing to do now is just to get rid of Martinelli to better the squad.
How long are
What
those
what
two?
where
How long is Saka and Martinelli to stay without winning titles?
No. You're selling them for you're not. There's nothing positive about making that sale.
You end up with a
You
striker.
fix the problem.
You end up with the clinical
Martinelli.
striker you
You
need.
don't let him walk out the door. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? No, you're fired if you walked into my office and your thought was, I think I know what to do. We're gonna sell Martinelli for 50 mil. We're gonna bring in another player and a striker because that's what we're missing as well.
You don't need
I
another
wouldn't even
player.
let him
You
get that
got
far, Gary.
Jesus.
I
You
wouldn't even let
got
him get that
Jesus.
far.
No. He would have
We're
said
gonna sell Martinelli
Martinelli,
for
and then
50
the door
million.
would have shut on him as he
Yeah.
you know, Tony. For me, that's a non-starter to sell your
Yeah.
best players to fix because you have problems elsewhere. No, you get rid of the players that don't work. We talk about small benches all the time. Small bench means you don't need to play everyone, right? If that's the case,
I mean,
that's the reason why we don't see Emil Smith Rowe and Reece Nelson and Elneny and all these players.
That's
They
because
don't play for
Arteta
us.
doesn't trust him. He
Tony,
doesn't trust.
Tony, I'm gonna need the keys. I'm gonna need you to return the keys to the company car and also your petrol card, please.
You are crazy. You are crazy.
Well, if you want a striker, that's the only way you're getting it. You have to make.
You're not going to give up. You're going to get a striker and say who's going to play out. Who when a
What
striker
kind
looks
of
when a striker looks over to his left.
We've all
Who's he
been
gonna see?
for 2
Got
months.
Martinelli
The fans
apparently.
have been asking if Martinelli should be put on the bench.
Tony. Who's he going to see when he looks over to the left? Tell me.
You got Jesus. You got people you can play in the
You
wing.
so you're going to keep Jesus and push him out on the left wing.
He's not
So-
good as a striker, is he?
what are we gonna do to
I
do you
think,
want to talk? We talked about the game a little bit, right?
Mm.
But how do we get this thing back on track? How do we get the podcast back on track? How do we get Arsenal back on track?
I don't think we get back on track.
You know what, Tony? I think any manager in the Premier League would take Martinelli for whatever you were gonna. They would pay the money if they
Jurgen
needed
Klopp.
They would pay the money
Yeah.
for Martinelli, which says a lot. I think Saka wants to be sold. Anybody will take him. They all would.
But at some point, Gary, one of those two or both of them are
How
to
many
say,
times
"Hey,
How many times do we look back at all these players
Why is that the answer?
that go off and do good things elsewhere, and we go,
Yeah.
"That was a stupid move." When Chelsea let go of Salah, we all laughed at that and said that was a stupid move. But now you're telling me, let's go and do exactly that. Let's go do that. Let's go do that. No, you're not going to do that.
Martinelli under any good manager will be turned into a class act.
It's not.
But we've been talking the last 2 months about putting him on the bench because he hasn't been playing good enough.
There's the players right there. All the players. Lakonga is killing it. He's killing it for Luton. Did you see that man the other day? He touched the ball. He kicked it. That's what a footballer does. The man was great. I think he's easily 9 mil. On a good day, 7 mil.
Who's that?
Lakonga.
Other players within the Premier League. We talked about Tony. I like the look of Wang from Wolves. You know, people
You know
saying
what?
he's
You know
gonna
what?
be
Arsenal.
Ray always liked a good wing.
Arsenal could have got all these players when nobody knew about them, but Arsenal said, "Nope, we'll keep it in Nketiah." You know, and Nketiah is the future of our striking force, right? Our
Yeah,
striker force. That's the poor business that we've done.
yeah, true. For all of that, Eddie
When
is still.
I just remember we were thinking I mean I know it didn't work out, but we needed a striker, and there was Edward and all these players that were like, oh, that could have been good to bring them in. You know, maybe you see we would have found out they weren't going to work because they haven't, but we needed to do something different. Like I don't understand how Emilsworth Rowe like Nketiah can stay because he's still young. What? He's not. No,
Yeah.
He's not still young. He's got enough minutes under his belt for this team for us to figure out whether or not it's going to work.
I want to make it clear, Sam, that I did not cup any elephant balls. That was in the opposite corners here.
He asked you to do it. He put a nickel in the machine
A
and
request?
said,
No,
yes.
no, thank you. That nickel was
Cup those
rejected,
balls, right?
Gary. It was rejected. You know.
Get cupping, right?
Listen, Nigel,
Get the cupping. Get the cupping.
Get
That's going to
cupping.
be the new phrase for 2024. Have you cupped yet?
How can you stop your love of football, no matter who the owners are? It's difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a Liverpool fan, if, as he quotes here, Saudi Arabian murdering princess come and buy Liverpool. If they came and buy Arsenal, you'd still support Arsenal, right?
Well, we have rumors that the Qataris were looking at buying Arsenal. So
I think it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing because if you look deep enough, everybody's got skeletons in the closet that aren't. So they're at different levels, of course, but they're all just bad people. Eventually, when you kind of look at it, if you're gonna paint the brush, that you're gonna cross it all. You know, you paint it all everybody with a certain brush. They all are bad. They have done something. They probably
but some of them are a lot higher up than others.
It doesn't matter. They're all bad, Tony.
We're all
like what affects you and affects somebody else is different, right? Some people look at the Middle Eastern thing and say one thing, and other people look at it and say no. But I know he does this, which I don't think is good either. So
yeah, but don't you put slave labor a little bit different than?
Obviously not. If you've got people looking at it and saying they don't care because it doesn't bother me, right? So they're able to just shrug it off. I'm not saying it's
people
right.
being executed in squares in the local town square.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
it's for me. It's yeah.
Welcome, Tybe. Welcome to the show. Arteta out. Yeah. We've known that, Tybe. But now we're going to see, Stan. We're going to see the divide coming again. The base is going to become unsettled again for another.
Well, the only way you change it is you win games. That's just that you have to
widen
win
it down,
and you have to have an answer. Right? I mean, have an answer.
You can't. You know what I mean? You don't win every game. It's not how it works. I mean, the last time that happened was us. We became invincible. There's going to be games that we should be winning, and that we will lose. My biggest worry is that we're going to go through a little patch, where maybe the next game will be another loss as well. Like we did 2 seasons ago, we went through those little patches 2 seasons ago. Just as we start going through that patch, Man City go up another gear. I mean, I think we played above ourselves last season.
Yeah,
with a good spirit behind us. But we ran out of we had fumes in the tank by the end, and I think this season we're probably seeing where we really are, because we can't expect a player like Martin Odegaard to continue to get 15 goals a season from that position.
Yep.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You look around the league and no one else is even close to do that in that position. You can't expect Xhaka to put up numbers like Salah, because he's still far off in his development. Salah's at the crest of his hill. It's just about to go over the other side, right? Xhaka's still climbing. Martinelli is the same as well. But this is what we did, right? We knew what we were doing. We decided that youth was going to be the way. We have a team that's full of youth. We don't have that much experience, and the ones that are experienced to have won stuff that we got from City, they're not even getting into the team at the moment because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
We are a little bit like Brownie said here. We are not getting enough from our number 9, whoever that's going to be. If it's Trossard, we're not getting elements of that number 9.
Well, you know what? You know whose problem that is? It's Arteta, because these are two players in Jesus to some degree, and I know it's not really where he needs to play in the central part, but Trossard, I believe, has played up there, and we've seen results, right?
Yes.
So all the things we talk about, we've been talking about this all the time. Arteta has changed the way we attack now, so everything looks different. So this is just, to me, is no different than when we signed Aubameyang, and then we said, you know what, I think I need a striker, and that striker needs to play like how Jesus is playing. That's basically what was being asked of Aubameyang at that point. I believe that's my thought there. So he's done it again. Guess what? He signed a player. He signed all these players up and said, here's a scheme that works. All these players saw a scheme work and succeed in the league. And Arteta said, nah, it's not that good. Let's try something different here. Changed it all up. So now these players got to learn another scheme 1 year after finishing second, knowing they bottled it at the end. And he said, nah, it's not good. We're going to do something better. Now these players are looking at it going, oh, damn, this isn't working for me.
But the main change there is you changed who you had as your left eights. The main thing we've changed.
No, the scheme is different now because we see it all the damn time. When a player comes up off the left and right wing, they will sometimes pull up for no reason and go backwards, and then we have to deal with a low block. Well, guess what? You don't have to deal with a low block if you get there before the low block sets up. How often do we wait? Like today, we even saw it. Saka intercepts the ball at midfield. Before he even has a chance to cross the line, he's turned it back, and we're going back the other way to reset, to build up. And guess what? By the time we get down the field, they're in a low block now.
We were still too slow last year.
No, but that's a mental thing because we see it all the time. We pull up every time and say, let's reset. Why?
Yeah. Third straight season bottling it. I mean, I think Leon Chardo, we were behind the schedule at least the last 2 seasons. We were behind. We weren't expected to get top 4. We got 5th place.
We were.
We got 5th place. We weren't expected to get top 4. We wanted it.
Top 4 should top 4 have been the goal that season, right?
We're talking about 2 seasons ago, right? This is the 3rd straight season. 2 seasons ago, we weren't supposed to.
You know why we were told? We were told that we needed to get top 4 because we were told that the only way we can bring in the players that we needed.
But again,
Tony, let me finish. I'm on your side, dude. The only reason why we needed to finish top 4 is because we were told we can't compete unless we're in the Champions League, because then we get the big money, then we can bring in the big players and we can catch up to the big boys. That's what we were told. That's what everybody said. They said we need to do that. So that season when we failed in like 3 games, I think we lost 3 games in a row against teams that were lower than us at the table. That's when we bottled it there, right? And top 4 would have gotten us the money that we needed to rebuild the team to be able to compete.
And then last season, we got a great lead against City, and none of us expected us to win the league, right? We got into this position.
When you're sitting at 3-5 points late in like with 10 games left in the season, and all you have to do is beat who? You're supposed to beat Liverpool, Southampton, and West Ham. Of those 3, you expect to win 2 of them, no problem, right? Yeah. Liverpool, going to be tough, right? At Anfield, you're not expecting much. But in all those games, we had a lead. In 2 of those games, I believe we had 2-goal leads. You had a 2-goal lead
against West Ham.
Yeah, 2-goal lead against Liverpool. You need to finish the job. If your aspirations are, like at some point you go. These are stepping stones, right, to get to where you want to be. You're not going to win the league immediately, but you are going to see success. So the success is I finished better than the last season. At some point, you finish top 4. At some point, you're sitting there. I want to finish inside the top 2, top 3. You're sitting 1. Your goals change. Like we talk about this all the time. This team will basically go, you know what? The cup match, it's not necessary. We're going to just throw anybody out there because we got, some people will say, bigger fish to fry, and we're going to work on one thing, right? That's what it looked like, right? We get out of the FA Cup because we put in a poor lineup, but it's all right because we're sitting top of the table, and the players play. You know what? I like I always say, if you settle, if you don't fight for, you got to shoot for the stars, and if a worst case scenario you hit the moon, right? Basically, for us right now, we need to compete in all fronts, and if it pans out and we only win one trophy at the end of the day, fine, But if you go, I'm going to settle for one trophy, guess what? More than likely, you're not going to get it because it never works. Nobody. If you always settle for one thing, you turn around, you look back, you go, damn, we didn't even get that. Because nobody says I want to just get first. They say I want to win all the trophies, right? That's the ultimate goal at the end of the day.
But we got rid of these managers because the fans wanted us to compete for the title.
On a side note, I might be happy in the NFL today.
Yeah, but you won't win next weekend, so
it doesn't actually matter. You know what? The next game is next year. I don't care. But for the next 8 hours, I might be able to enjoy the NFL.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you might be able to. Yeah. Instead of winning out, you can lose out.
Hey,
both teams are losing out.
Calm down.
I am
sorry. Sorry about that. I just something good happened in the NFL. It was like the only football thing that's happened.
I'm watching it too. Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Stan, 49ers were always
I want to hear
Stan
Stan because I understand. Come on, I'm on the ledge. Pull me back, man.
Stan, pull him back.
I do think it's, on the back of 2 wins, and is that a sackable offence now? You lose 2 games and then you sack the manager. I think for me that's a bit knee jerk.
Do you think the Kroenke's going to do that anyway?
No,
or not.
I don't think Arteta doesn't.
Social media and stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't think Arteta. I don't think it's Arteta out right now. If you have as an owner, if you have certain aspirations for your team, and if you look at what's happened, do you think have we hit our ceiling with Arteta?
Their aspiration is top 4 this season.
I get it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, if that's if their aspirations are to hold up a trophy like they do in every other sport that they participate in, they've held up a trophy.
Right.
Their team has had up a trophy, right? If that's their aspirations, like they've done all before, then they're going to do what they need to. Because this, you know what? I think there's. I don't think there's as much money invested in this than there is in NFL. All right.
Look,
there's tons of money in NFL.
The people who are calling for Arteta out, put a percentage on that. It's probably 10% of the fan base. 10%, and you hear the loud majority, the minority that's loudest, or is on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
But how many do you think was Wenger out to start with, Ray? Wasn't that a loud majority we were talking about? Most of the fans were.
I mean, at what point? So you're talking about the trophy drive, Tony, when the bandwagon for the appetite for Wenger grew year on year.
I would say probably about what time that Klopp joined Liverpool. I'd probably dial in at that time.
2016, so the last couple of years under Wenger. Yeah, I think it was a big percentage and was growing stronger and stronger. 30.
I think it was I think it started as a very loud minority.
Yeah, but it didn't start till about 2010, 2011. You sell Robin van Persie to Man United, which is unforgivable for a lot of people. You know, you provide Alex Ferguson with his last league title by giving him our best striker. You know,
Yeah, but Van Persie wasn't there for injuries and other stuff the whole time. He had one good season with us, then he's gone. So
Well, we just saw that. We just saw that, right? We just saw that with with Xhaka. One good season with Arsenal, off he went, and now he's he's really having a really good year right now, where he is. So Arsenal, you know what? They always tell you should learn from the history. You should not repeat. What do? We just repeated it. You know.
Arteta cannot improve the things any further, and the current situation demands improvement in all fronts. And I think he has to look at the number 9 position in particular as well. Listen, I've been banging on for a double pivot as well, and everybody dismisses me because they think it's a defensive thing to do, a double pivot. Instead of having 5 lanes into our opposition, why not have 4 lanes?
yeah, but
Opposition.
don't you do an easier thing and just go with a back 3 since you don't have the fullbacks?
The other thing as well, somebody mentioned asking Kivior to do Zinchenko things. Why do we need to ask Kivior to do Zinchenko things? Why can't Kivior just be a traditional left back? Why can't Mikel Arteta just play a traditional back 4? You know, these are the things that he cannot get away from.
Or back 3.
What's that, Stan?
He's too clever for his own good. He's too clever for his own good, and this is the way that he wants to play. And we have a system which means that we have a fullback coming in as another midfielder. And for me, a lot of the time, it ain't working, man. I understand that's probably what he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? But you can only work with what the tools that you have. You can only work with what you've got. And we haven't got players that it looks to me that can do that job sufficiently without meaning that Gabriel Megalegs has to keep running and shifting over to the left-hand side and leaving a gap in the middle now and hoping that Declan Rice is going to see that and then slot back in. Do you know what I mean? No. It's bollocks.
Yeah, why can't we play a traditional back 4, a double pivot, Rice and Jorginho? Havertz can play up front for me. And, then you have some Martinelli and Saka have some presence up front that they can play with.
You know what? You know how long it takes to implement something like that?
It doesn't take long.
Ray, you don't understand this football thing. Like, look at Arteta. I mean, it takes months to implement a traditional back 4 with fullbacks that defend and center backs that defend.
To a back 3.
You just don't understand.
He's being fishy fish, Tony. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait.
You don't understand this football thing. I mean, come on.
Spencer and myself are the next Arsenal management. Tony will be banned. Tony can be the boot
Tony,
boy.
Tony will be one of those you know what? I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna give you health insurance because I know you need it, but stay away from my office. All right? Do not come in. Stay away. I don't want you managing anything to do with football over here.
Right.
I used to work for a company where we had a tea guy, but to make him feel, better, he was actually his official title was beverages manager.
That's gonna be Tony. That's like when they said like one of the presidents they gave
Tony
one
for president.
One of those toy buzzers, like he's gonna blow everything up just so he can have some power. Like, Tony, you are senior management in charge of nada.
Right.
This guy's title.
Sam, I hate you. I really do.
Right.
Tony.
Who won your prediction challenge the last 3 years?
Different people.
No, your preseason or predictions for the team. I did.
You know what?
Bringing this up.
No, you're talking about all this past stuff, right? Where are you today? I don't even see your name. I don't even see your name on the list.
Tony, are you referring to Tony? Are you referring to the upset pick competition?
No.
No.
I was going to say.
Oh, Stan, you're gonna get him fired up now. You're gonna get him fired up now. No, I mean that Leon Chodo.
Leon Chodo?
Yeah, I mean,
What was
when did we bring in
If you
a
want to
world
go
class
to
player?
that, Sam,
Oh
Aubameyang?
no!
Yeah.
Oh
that
no!
goes back to Sam, Stan, because Sam 2 years ago,
Oh no!
Arsenal has 7
Oh,
players out because of COVID.
see what we
Did
did there. See what we did there,
guess what
folks.
Sam did? Sam went with Arsenal, and
Oh,
Ray allowed it.
and
Ray
Tony
allowed it,
has not let it down. He's not left
and
that
I
one.
threw a fit about it. Ray never changed it, so that's fucking on Ray.
Whenever I hear dissenting voices, my ears tighten up and I can't hear. I just can't hear. I go la 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 la.
Oh my gosh!
I just it's white noise, Tony. I can't hear it. I'm sorry. It's like that TV.
Uh,
How am I incorrect there, Sam? You picked Arsenal 50 minutes before the fucking
hey,
game started.
Tony, you would pick the last game on Sunday because guess what? You didn't put your pick into the last game on Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
I remember that
Hedging your
many
bets.
Yeah.
times. Not
Yeah.
just the one time that Sam did it. I remember that many times. So you
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Sam's lawyer here. The man did exactly what you did. Exactly what you did. One time, and you're gonna call him out for it.
Hey, who was struggling with their
No,
health?
no, Tony, you have nothing to say because you can't claim that. You know what? Sam did it, dude. You
Right,
invented it. You
right,
are. You know
Sam
what?
is typing. Sam is typing really fast right
you're the
now.
vice president
right,
of late picks. All right, there you go. That's your title.
Late
right,
pick master.
Like
right,
he worked as a newspaper editor.
right.
Yeah, Tony. Yep.
How many times in the private chat last year did I end up picking like my third or fourth choice game? Because I would have definitely like picked like I always did. You'd pick Palace at home because with Vera they would win at Selhurst Park, and
Yeah.
that got me a lot of points. I was at 93 points.
Yeah. You did a few times. You did. Yes.
And look at Stan there. He acts all innocent, but what did he try to do before the wrestling? Try to change it right
You know
before.
why you
Yeah,
bringing in
but
stuff that doesn't
Tony,
matter?
Tony,
You know what? No, Stan.
the key difference
Let
was
me
right.
talk for
Oh
you.
no, hold on. In my defense, Tony, the key difference was right. I changed my. I tried to change my pick for the wrestling, but the key difference was the event hadn't started yet. When you change yours, the games are already underway. Goals have been scored, and you edge your bets. That's what you do.
Do you know
There's a
what though,
difference.
Stan? I did not look up a score or any of the games
Oh, please
before.
stop it!
I didn't.
Now you're telling me the man remembers what happened like 20 years ago and why Arsenal didn't win the league. But he'll tell you now. You know, I don't watch football
I
enough,
was
so I don't
fucking
know.
asleep. How many times did he ask me to join the road trip?
Football
And I was
starts on Friday. So you're telling me on Saturday morning when you put your pick in, you have no clue what happened from the Friday matches and the Saturday matches. Is that what
guess
you're
what
telling me?
happened the third? Guess what happened the third
Uh,
week of us?
now
Third
he's
week.
screaming. Now he's
Third,
screaming.
third week of a season. I tell Ray that I want Aston Villa. Guess what? Ray doesn't fucking give it to me,
You
even though
told
I
me.
told him.
You
You didn't
told
tell
me.
me I had to put it in
I
writing.
did
I
tell
told
you
you.
you had to type it. Yes, I did.
No, you did. No, you
That's
did
been the
not.
process since day one, Tony.
Tony, you're digging a hole very deep for yourself there.
I want to be on your side,
Uh,
buddy, but nah, you're not gonna get
Leon
this one.
Chordo. I don't know if Lacazette maybe scored 20 goals, but they weren't 20 league goals.
Not in a league. When's the last time we had a league? Premier League?
Aubameyang has
No.
been the last time we scored 20. We had a striker scoring 20 league goals. I was on holiday in Thailand and still managed to pick Brentford before the game started. Yeah, there's this little invention called the internet. It helps a lot, Tony, to communicate to people now. We see we're all in different. Stan is at the mansion right now. You know,
imagine Sam on his little jaunts over there to Thailand. What he gets
in a rickshaw.
Talking about cupping elephant balls, right? Yeah, this is Tony in Thailand.
Sam in Thailand. You don't want Tony to go to Thailand, do you?
On tour.
That'd be like the Hangover for sure. What an absolute dump Pattaya is. I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. Is that a place? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In Thailand.
No.
All right. So listen, I think the biggest egregious thing for me that Mikel Arteta is doing is not including. He's not giving squad players enough games, but he's also not
They're
putting them
shit.
in a position. Huh?
Because you know they're shit. You won't pick them.
I mean, I always say,
Trust them, right? If it's Villa.
you don't have to you don't have to ask what Tyler thinks of a player. Just look. Just look. We needed to score a goal today. We needed to score a goal many times this season. When did he say, Reece Nelson, come on and help me do that? It's not that many times.
Very late in the day.
Saka's had a poor game, first half, nothing. He can't do anything right. I get it. You want to see him play it out. But at some point, you just got to make a change when you see it in consistent games, you know?
I have a couple of notes here saying a chance for many players to atone for Thursday. Well, they didn't do that today. They did not atone for Thursday's performance. And I said Tommy Essa will need 25 to 30 minutes if he's to be ready for Salah next week. So Tommy Essa got more than a half.
I'm just wondering how Arteta is going to turn this around. How Arteta is going to turn this team around. Like they're going to go away from New Year's Eve and party hard and all that. This one's a good one, Nigel. I like that one.
You look flushed. Sam does have his activities.
I was just thinking about Sam lying on a beach in Thailand while young Thai girls picked fluff out of his belly button.
You know what? This is no. You know what? There's a certain.
That's
You know what? You know what? I haven't had lunch yet, or dinner or whatever.
That's why he picked Arsenal, because he was
Sam getting anything picked off of him. Just that's when you like. No, please.
Sam using talk to text in Thailand gives you Arsenal as his pick. You know.
No, you see right there. You see, Sam said that's actually true. That no,
dude.
That doesn't even sound right. Doesn't even taste right.
Why shouldn't you use a broken pencil? Because it's pointless. All right.
You can get anything in Thailand, man. If you want fluff picked out your belly button, you can make it happen. Anything can happen in Thailand.
Jeez. Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to talk about ping pong balls.
You see, this is where is where things are just.
This is where we close out the show at this point, right, Gary?
On that note,
I haven't done that note. All right, this is where I go and get my Chinese food for this evening. What else? What are you having tonight, Gary? Celebrating.
No, I think I don't know if I'm supposed to be making it or we're having some stuff made up. All right, I might have to go prep some food. But if
I'd say your wife is doing a very poor job if you don't know that you're making it by now.
It'll be fine, and we still have time. But, but I think I'm going to use the air fryer and probably do some salmon and some chicken. In the
air fryer! Way to go out.
Tony, what have you got? Don't gnaw on your arm.
What does that mean, Tony?
Do I look like I don't feel like cooking, right?
Looks like a mummy. You look like a mummy right now.
I'm like 1/8 mummy.
Hopefully you got some food in, Tony. What are you doing tonight?
I'm not sure yet. I might make like a green bean casserole. Other than that, probably just relaxing.
Cool.
Stan, what do you watch?
Do you watch the ball drop, or do you do something else in Oklahoma?
It's an elephant. It's an elephant. You're cupping elephants' balls, right?
No, that'd be like buffalo balls, but we don't do that either.
You know what? Whatever you need to do in Oklahoma, that's probably cool. But what are you doing for New Year's, Tony? When do you celebrate it?
I'm not
Happy New Year.
I'm not doing much of anything, Gary.
Happy New Year to all. Brace yourself for more setbacks coming in the coming year. Look, we got to fix up. It's got to start next weekend in the FA Cup. I would say the FA Cup is taking on a huge significance now next weekend against Liverpool. And if you can't get a performance against Liverpool, a big team coming into your home stadium, something's really wrong.
But are we that care if we have that cup when we're not in the Champions League? Even
more so. Nigel, great job, guys. Happy New Year, everyone. May everyone's hopes and dreams come true. Nice dreams only allowed. God bless. All right. Stan, what are you up to this evening? What are you getting in for Scran?
Well, it's usually traditional on New Year's Eve in my household just to have a bit of muff.
What's that? Bit of what?
Muff.
I want to ask what that means because it can mean many a thing. We were just talking about elephant juggling. And now he just said muff. I don't know what that means in England.
Gary, you don't know what muff is?
He knows what muff. I know what muff means.
It could mean something else, but I assume in Vancouver it means something else.
I know what muff diving is. So
Yeah, muff pie.
All right. On that note,
You tell somebody in the house that that's what's going on, or it's just a normal occurrence in the
she knows it.
in the Stanley household. It's just like
it could be a surprise dish, Gary. It could be a surprise
it's a
dish.
surprise.
Yeah. What I'm going to say is this, right? What I'm going to say is this, right? The missus is mowing the lawn as we speak.
And it's not even summer.
She's blowing me out.
Oh my God. I didn't expect that answer. I'm never going to ask you again, Dan.
It's Gary's fault. Gary's the one that kept wanting to answer.
Nigel, I
Stan
I
was
am
leaving
going
it
to have.
unanswered.
I'm
Stan
going to
was
have some
leaving it
pork,
unanswered.
pork fried rice. Probably that's the go-to.
Ray,
pork
you're
fried
the
rice.
only one having a regular type of New Year's. He's like, I'm having pork fried balls or whatever it is.
He's having buffalo balls.
Tom's the one that asked for pork balls. Sorry.
Oh
Chicken
my
fried
God.
rice, beef, green pepper, and black bean. Black bean sauce. I like black bean sauce.
Very
Sweet and sour
nice,
chicken.
very
All
nice.
good stuff. You know.
All right.
We'll
You know,
probably get
I'm
a
gonna
lot of
I'm gonna
stuff.
do this right now before I forget. Happy New Year, Ray.
Yeah.
Happy New Year,
Yeah.
Tony. Happy New Year, Stan.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody in the chat. You know, enjoy the evening. If you're an Arsenal fan, drown your sorrows away if that's what you want to do.
If you're an Eagle fan, it's not
Drown
so
the
good
sorrows,
either.
that's what you're gonna do. But the new year will
Let's,
come, and hopefully people will have some. They want to change. You know, change.
Let's spare a thought for Alonso. He's an Arsenal fan and an Eagle fan, and maybe Martin Truex. I don't know what he's doing tonight.
Already practicing, so they start back up in February. Ends in November.
He's in practice. Okay. All right, Stan. Thanks. Happy New Year.
Alonso will probably join us just as we're leaving. That's what no? He usually comes sliding in just as we leave.
You want us to wait for him?
Can I just say as well, a happy New Year to everybody on the panel. It's been a good year. Thanks for having me on the shows. Also, as well, a happy New Year to everybody that comes in here in the chat box. That comes in every Thursday and every Sunday to join us to talk about Arsenal. I hope you all have a great 2024, and it's better than 2023.
Yeah.
You know what? I this is how my new year I think is going to start. All my Cowboys have to do is win against the Commandos, and they win the division. But they're going to screw it up.
Not Commandos.
I'm not calling them by their name. They're called the Commandos.
Do we know anything about AFCON and if Thomas Partey is going to go or Tommy S is going to go?
You know what? It's twofold. If he's going, we're selling him. If he's staying, he's playing. All right.
Yeah.
That's how I should look. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Definitely. Stefan, Happy New Year. Stephen O'Toole is in the town as well. Happy New Year to you, Stephen. Nigel.
But who's he replacing in the lineup, Gary?
What?
Who's he replacing?
Havertz.
Who?
He's not going to do that.
If well, you just asked me then you tell me I'm wrong. How can you tell me I'm wrong on my own answer?
I said who is, not who would you.
If you're telling me Partey's healthy, you tell me if Partey's healthy, you're not pushing Havertz somewhere else.
Arteta's not been.
No, it's not. You don't know. You don't know Arteta. Why are you talking for?
Yeah, I do.
You know, one thing that we know will happen in 2024 is that Gary and Tony will still be fighting. They'll still be fighting. You know, 2024. All right, we're out of here.
I got a big club for him right now. So
Tony, Happy New Year. Stan, Happy New Year. Gary, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody in the chat box.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Really do appreciate everyone coming in. I wanted to do a podcast complaining about Arsenal before they even played. Wanted to do one last night complaining about them, but I thought they would fix up and be better. It didn't happen, but we can hope that 2024 is a lot better than 2023 was. We need to join the big boys at some point, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but we need to do that. Take care, everyone. Happy New Year. Cheers.